WBGU 88.1 FM for your pregame show of Bowling Green State University against Michigan Tech. Second game of the series, boys. I am joined by Dan Reinauer and Nathan Burkett. You guys were on the pregame, postgame, and intermission shows last night, so let's go over your reactions from last night. Burkett, let's start with you.
A good, solid game for the Falcons. It felt like they outplayed the Huskies throughout the game. Just not good enough.
Well, I mean, you talk about that not good enough, and really kind of surprising. I was expecting that you got a win, kind of, coming into the playoffs, that kind of mindset that you had, Burkett, and everything you were talking about. And, I mean, I kind of see myself having a similar kind of mentality after yesterday. It just felt like goaltending was a little bit off. Defense was a little bit off at some points. I mean, when you look at a guy who takes 17 shots on goal with 13 saves, it's not always the greatest image. But that's just the game of hockey. That's not, I think, really Palmer. That's just the way the game, how fluid it goes, where you could have a phenomenal, night or weekend like you did Friday against Michigan Tech last week. And now you take it to this weekend, and it's just a completely different environment. So we're looking to ride that high today, and I feel like that's going to be what Palmer's looking for tonight.
Absolutely. That game last night being final score 5-3. Falcons need a must-win in order to advance further into the Mason Cup. As Ben Korek sat down with Coach Curtis Carr today from following that game. And here's that interview with Ben Korek and Curtis Carr.
Very strong points yesterday, but fell short in the game. Just what was the message to the group after last night's loss?
The few areas we got to tighten up, but overall, I thought we felt that we played pretty well. We created some chances. We out grade 8 at them with the analytics and stuff, and we just need to tighten a few things up, and we need to have the same effort and continue to work, and we think that we can be successful.
Yeah, not many chances allowed to Michigan Tech, but a couple on deflections and breakaways that resulted in goals. Film today, what did you guys see from your skaters and how they played away from the puck?
For the most part, our play away from the puck was pretty good. They had a few times where they got in behind us, and obviously, they capitalized on the one breakaway there. So we addressed those, talked a little bit about that and the structure and some of the changes they made and some of the things we need to do a little bit better job of in the middle of the rink.
Yeah, a lot of offensive chances generated as well, 21 more shots on goal than you allowed to them. Just what needs to be done today to get more of those shots to be buried?
We just got to continue to get in front of him, make sure he's not seeing pucks, make sure we're getting to the blue pane and make sure we're beating them to those rebounds.
Yeah, and Willie mentioned yesterday playing with desperation today. How do you navigate having to play with desperation today while also battling smartly and through a full 60?
Yeah, I think the guys are going to come out ready to go. They know it's desperate time, and they'll play that way. Our job as coaches is just to make sure that they don't get overexcited and start taking too many risks, and it's just a constant messaging on the bench.
Coach, good luck today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Desperate times in need as the Falcons need a win today, like I mentioned earlier, to advance into the Mason Cup, as if they get a win today, they will play tomorrow at 5:07 puck drop. Make sure to tune in 30 minutes prior to the broadcast to catch the pregame show on WBGU 88.1 FM. I guess, Burkett, when the three of us are in the studio together, you're kind of more of more of a realist, kind of negative energy, but like a realist, I feel like. So what do you want to see differently out of this game as from the Falcons?
Well, I was an optimist yesterday, and they lost. So
back to being
if being a pessimist helps them win, it helps them win. So I want to see them actually win the game for once. I want to see I'll kind of split the difference. I mentioned how I thought they outplayed Michigan Tech at many times or multiple parts throughout last night's game. There's just two major issues I saw. Number one, there was a couple of defensive lapses. Two of Michigan Tech's goals, the shooter was just completely left alone. You can't let that happen. You can't give up a breakaway opportunity when you're already down a goal. And then goaltending needs to be better. Palmer's been good all season, but only letting in 4 goals on 17 shots, that's not going to cut it in any game, let alone in the playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, you kind of look at just the way the game went through. 18 shots on goal for Michigan Tech, and just the percentage was not quite there for the Falcons, only getting a .077 for BG. But you talk about the faceoffs as well. Bowling Green winning 40 to Michigan Tech's 25 is a big part of where the play overall begins. But when you look more in depth, that's when that's when you have the face-offs. You keep this one going. You try to win that back. That's when you have the puck. So I think really just a great highlight for Coach Carr and Ben Korak to talk about just moving without the puck, trying to get in front of the net, trying to move away from it, so you're able to get that open lane, get those options in front of you, and then that leads to scoring chances, a lot like what we saw yesterday with Gustav Sternberg, just taking a shot from the point, setting the screen perfectly, and then moving the puck back so he was able to rip it.
And you mentioned Palmer playing good this season. Cole Moore will be our goalie, or the Bowling Green Falcon. BGSU Falcons goalie for tonight. So Cole Moore getting back in the net, I guess. Seeing what he's got. I don't have his individual stats right now. I'll pull those up in a little bit. He played last week, basically, against this same team. Right. Correct? So we'll pull those stats up in a few moments here on WBGU 88.1 FM. But Cole Moore getting the net for tonight. How do you guys feel about Cole Moore in the back of the net?
Solid. He's consistently proven in the second half of this year that he's a guy you can trust in net. I was wondering last night whether or not the plan was going to be to start Palmer night one, then go to Cole Moore, or if this is a situation where Coach Willie had to force his hand a little bit to maybe doesn't trust Palmer as much as that first game. But Cole Moore is a solid goaltender. We've said all year that BG has 3 good goaltenders. Well, right now they only have 2 because of an injury to Jacob Steinman. But so another guy up, another hopefully good performance from him.
I'm thinking a lot more of I guess what we had with Palmer last weekend on Friday, a lot of unknowns with him. And I mean, Moore is going to be interesting to see as, you talk about that 3-man rotation that Coach Williams has been fortunate to have so far. So we'll see how Cole Moore wants to adapt with the game. We'll see how, he wants to go in, what his kind of attitude is and everything with that. But I mean, if you just look straight at the stats, you don't look at that mentality or the attitude that he brings, they're all solid. He's good. He is a very strong goaltender who, correct me if I'm wrong, has over a .900 save percentage, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. So, credit to Moore. It's just you got to have that effort. You got to have that attitude there is really just the biggest concern I have for Cole Moore, so we'll see what he can do tonight.
And with Cole Moore starting tonight, which unusual because Cole Moore has been usually the leading goaltender in series, but with this being basically a 3-game series, when I saw that Palmer had the net last night, I was kind of thinking, I wonder if Coach Willie's thought was, I get Palmer in there, see what he can do, basically, and if you lose, okay, you got 2 games to come back, put Moore back in for those 2 games, which he played both games last week against Michigan Tech, right?
No, it was Palmer both nights.
Palmer both nights.
It was Moore both nights against Minnesota State.
My bad. My apologies there. That's on me. But, that was just my thought process. I don't know if Coach Williams, that was his. Haven't been able to ask him. But, yeah, so Cole Moore in the net for tonight. You're listening to WBGU 88.1. We'll be doing a couple more different discussions before we send it out to Ben Korak for your play-by-play and, I guess, color commentator for the second game of the series against Michigan Tech in the Mason Cup. Stick around.
Falcon Media Sports Network now has a pregame, halftime, and postgame show for every BGSU men's and women's basketball broadcast, starting 25 minutes before each game. Make sure to tune in to hear insights and knowledge from Falcon Media Sports Network analysts. You can listen to every broadcast on WBGU 88.1 FM or Falcon Radio, also streaming on bgfalconmedia.com.
I'm Levi Gazaric, a senior tight end, and my Falcon 4 camp essentials are electrolytes, a gallon of water, sunflower seeds, and Nerds gummy clusters. Go Falcons!
On November 15th, 2024, BGSU hockey defeated St. Thomas in a shootout, courtesy of a game winner by defenseman Jack Blake. Falcon Media Sports Network's voice of Falcon hockey, Ben Korak, had the call of the moment on WBGU 88.1 FM.
And Jack Blake, for all the glory, trying to put this one away with the puck, taking it around, far side wheel, working in with the shot, and he fills it! Jack Blake with the shootout winner! First time in the lineup this season, and Jack Blake is the hero as Bowling Green mobs him.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Coolant Center, Gavin Gill, Dan Ryanauer, and Nathan Burkett. Zig Zone, as was mentioned in that little thing, that little teaser right there. If Bowling Green gets a win tonight and they play tomorrow against Michigan Tech, Zig Zone will be moved to Falcon Radio. So Bowling Green gets a win tonight. They will play again tomorrow, 5:07 puck drop here on WBGU 88.1, and Zig Zone will get moved to Falcon Radio. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com if you would like to listen to the Zig Zone, or stick around here on WBGU 88.1 for coverage of Bowling Green State University taking on Michigan Tech. Anyway, boys, we're going to do around CCHA as we are in the Mason Cup. Last week, we were looking at whether or not, we put out an apology after the game. Us here at Falcon Media Sports Network really thought if Bowling Green got a 5 points last week, there was going to be home ice advantage, but we were wrong due to some CCHA technicalities. But last week was electric. Us in the studio, we were super excited. We really thought that there was going to be home ice, but unfortunately there were some CCHA technicalities that put them on the road. But we apologize about that, and we will look to get better and learning more of those kind of rules there. But anyway, tonight we have obviously Bowling Green State University taking on Michigan Tech. That puck drop will be at 6:07, just about 14 minutes away or so. But then we have at 7 p.m. Ferris State is taking on Minnesota State. Minnesota State being 16th in the nation. That is at Minnesota State for their second game of the series. Minnesota State ended up defeating Ferris State last night 5-1. And then the third out of the 4 games tonight, Augustana is taking on Bemidji State. Augustana being the home team, ranked 15th in the nation. They got the win last night 5-2, and St. Thomas defeated Lake Superior State last night 4-3. St. Thomas being 19th in the country. All home teams won last night, so that really shows home ice advantage. That really shows what you could bring to the table. Any surprises out of the games from last night? Burkett, you nodded your head immediately, so
there was a chance that Lake Superior State was going to get a win over St. Thomas.
Yeah.
They took the game to overtime, and they forced St. Thomas to score a last-second or a last-minute goal to tie it up. So I didn't have that on my bingo card. I expected it to be just pure chalk, if you will. Just Minnesota State, yep, they're going on. St. Thomas, they're going on. Who's the other one? Augustana, they're going on. And then the one that's probably gonna be close was the BG versus Michigan Tech series, but Lake Superior making it interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean we've said it before, say it again, say it 100,000 times if I need to. CCHA, anybody can get anybody.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely I'd say the closest conference in college hockey as of now, and this is one of the closest years we've ever seen for CCHA hockey in terms of just competitiveness and the standings. I mean, it's crazy to think about how before this regular season ended, Minnesota State was the 4th seed, and they ended up winning the McNaughton Cup. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And kind of confusing as well that Bowling Green gets 5 out of 6 points and just stays in 5th place, but Minnesota State just against Northern Michigan, who has been kind of a spoiler this year, just takes them for 2 games and jumps all the way up to the 1st seed. But I digress. So we get back to this. I mean, yeah, there's so close for games. I mean, St. Thomas is going to have to bring it again for Lake Superior tonight if they're going to want to have to move on. Minnesota State on paper has the easiest route for just because Ferris State was the 8th seed, but even then there's an opportunity for anybody to play spoiler in this. I mean, Ferris State, Northern Michigan, we're doing it a ton at the end of the regular season, and we could definitely see that again for the Bulldogs. And I mean, on paper, the closest series is the Bowling Green Michigan Tech series, which just makes it one to look out for. I mean, you have so close of a conference, and you narrow it down to just one game, what's the closest of these games? And it's Bowling Green and Michigan Tech. This is one to look out for if you're the rest of the CCHA, looking to see who your next round opponent will be.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that it is one of the toughest conferences in college hockey. I mean, you look at the top 5 teams in the Mason Cup right now. You have Minnesota State sitting at 16th ranked. You have St. Thomas sitting at 19th ranked, Augustana at 15th ranked, Michigan Tech at 20 ranked, and BGSU receiving votes. And if I'm looking at it correct, according to NPI, they are 21st. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're sitting right on that bubble. And also, you were mentioning the series. Bowling Green and the Michigan Tech series, the winner will play the winner of Minnesota State and Ferris State. So, Minnesota State possibly taking on either BGSU. Well, actually, hold on now. I mean, Ferris State could play a little bit of an underdog mentality these next 2 games, but, No,
they won't.
Okay,
I'll put it on paper. They're not winning.
Well, anyway, so the winner of that will play Bowling Green or Michigan Tech, and then Augustana and Bemidji State, that the winner of that game will play the winner of St. Thomas versus Lake Superior. So anybody can get anybody.
Mm-hmm. No,
but
Fair State.
Exactly.
That's not happening. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry, Bulldogs fan. You're not going to beat Tracy.
But also, I mean, I do find it. I mean, we kind of covered it a little bit with Minnesota State jumping from 4-1 last week. But the true chaotic of the CCHA. If you go back in December, Michigan Tech was they were at 6th or 5th or something, maybe even 7th. But then they jump up to, they were at 2 at one point, and then they dropped back down to 4 after the BGSU series last week. But it was just, you can't pick a chosen winner. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes the CCHA a very fun conference to watch.
I mean, it was so up for grabs at the end of the season that the McNaughton Cup given to the CCHA regular season champion was not in Mankato for when they won it, because the CCHA did not expect them to have it. So they had a cardboard cutout they were skating around with on the ice. It was a really funny photo in retrospect. Probably look back in a couple of years at.
Absolutely. I guess a posing question. We still got to get through the Mason Cup, and definitely will be paying. I mean, obviously we're paying attention to that. But a question that I'm going to pose to you guys right now, after conference play, college hockey playoffs. There's a name for it, or is it just college hockey playoffs?
Well, I always called it the NCAA tournament, but
it's NCAA tournament. Whatever.
Okay.
College hockey, whatever you call it. It's not.
So, I guess my question is: so CCHA gets an auto bid for the winner.
Mm-hmm. All conferences do.
All conferences do. How many teams out of the CCHA do you kind of think might sneak into that tournament?
At most 2.
At most 2.
Yeah, I mean the CCHA has a lot of teams ranked, but it's
top 16.
Yeah, top 16. I don't know. I feel like it's probably just gonna go 2.
2.
They like to give spots to the NCHC and the Big Ten and the ECAC and Hockey East.
As in, don't win their conference yet still make a bid into the tournament. Is that what you mean, Gavin?
Yeah.
I could see the winner and then maybe 2.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards.
It's on paper. You're looking at, just hypothetically, just because they're the number 1 team, Minnesota State wins it, and then you see the finalists, and then whoever, you take it back to the next round, who played the greatest out of those 4 teams, who played the greatest. So you kind of take those 3 and then leave the other one out. But just to avoid the confusion, you got to win. I mean, that's plain as simple as that. If you want home ice, you're going to have to hope that Ferris State turns into just a magical team and just goes on a Cinderella run. But if you're going to have to go, you know that the majority of your schedule is going to be on the road, if not all of it. So you just got to take care of business on the road and do everything you can to do that.
I do want to clarify, for the NCAA tournament, there is no home ice. It's regionals and then
correct.
Pros. So, but yeah, if you want home ice for a playoff series in the CCHA, you're going to need a lot of luck. To win first off.
Yeah, wins, of course. Something that I've been doing. I don't know if everybody else has been doing, but if you head over to Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter/X, they do Pick the Stick, where Ben Korak, Tyler Kavlitz, Lucas Kleinmeyer, and a Falcon Media Sports Network representative will all pick a player to score, and they do they pick a player. I'm gonna throw it to you guys. Imaginary pick the stick. This is not real. Who do you guys want to see for tonight?
Ben Durant.
Ben Durant.
That's
it. You got
point.
nothing.
I mentioned it a lot last night. He historically has been very good against Michigan Tech in the playoffs. So, Ben Durant.
You would know better than anybody. You take this very, very seriously,
Yes.
Burkett. So
very happy to announce that currently FMSN is still leading.
You are definitely out for it with Ben, Lucas, and Tyler. But you know what? Let's shake things up a little bit. Let's go Cole Moore. Just why not? I don't think I've ever taken a goaltender, and whether hypothetical or real pick the sticks. So there's a first for everything. Let's take Cole Moore.
I like those. I've been saying it for probably 3 weeks now, but I definitely want to see Brody Waters. I don't know why, but Brody, every single week I look at his name, I'm like, yep, that's
cool
it.
Name.
But that's who I'm picking for tonight. But make sure to head over to Twitter/X, Falcon Media Sports Network, to look and see who our Falcon Media Sports Network representatives have picked the stick, as well as all the rules and stipulations for that. Anyway, final thoughts before we're gonna play a few promos, and then we're gonna send it out to Ben Korak out at before puck drop. We'll send it out to Ben. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to see first intermission?
Just win the game.
Okay, that's not first intermission, but all right. I
Just
like
be
that.
leading the game.
Be leading. All right.
Great way to look at it. If you're leading period by period, you'll come out with the wins. So just win the period.
All right, yeah. So that is going to wrap it up here for your pregame show here on WBGU 88.1 FM. I am Gavin Gill, sitting with Dan Ryanauer and Nathan Burkett. Stay tuned. We'll send it out to Ben Korak in just a matter of minutes, as well as the three of us will have your first intermission report and second intermission reports, as well as post-game, report here on WBGU 88.1 FM. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to stay tuned for Ben Korak.
For all BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.
My name is Malcolm Johnson Jr., senior wide receiver, and my Falcon 4 favorite NFL teams are the Ravens, because it's in my hometown, the Texans, because Stephon Diggs, and he's from Maryland, the New York Giants, because, well, I love their colors, and the Commanders, because my favorite NFL player is Sean Taylor. Go Falcons.
Hi, my name is Kate Eigner. I'm number 17 on the women's volleyball team, and my Falcon 4 bucket list places are probably anywhere in British Columbia, Canada, Vail, Colorado in the wintertime, Portofino, and Stockholm, Sweden.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Hey, BGSU graduate Jason Jackson from the Miami Heat here. When I was a Falcon, there was BGRSO. Now it's Falcon Media Sports Network. Keep up with all BGSU sports news and action by following BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and check out BGFalconMedia.com. Hi, Ziggy.
Hello, Falcons. I'm Dontrez Brown. I play defensive line here, and my Falcon 4 favorite TV shows is SpongeBob, Regular Show, Adventure Time, and iCarly. I like SpongeBob because, just growing up, just seeing it on TV, it just made me laugh, and it still makes me laugh today. Adventure Time and Regular Show is kind of a mix. They just always have me laughing. And then iCarly, Sam Puckett is super funny, so. Go Falcons.
Check out bgfalconmedia.com for previews, recaps, photos, videos, and more of the Falcons.
Elimination game for Bowling Green hockey yesterday here in Houghton, Michigan. The first game of the third straight CCHA quarterfinal series between the Falcons and the Huskies. BG fell to Michigan Tech 5-3. Their first loss to the Black and Gold since November of 2024. Now in Game 2, the Orange and Brown, who in the words of head coach Dennis Williams are borrowing time here in the playoffs, look to steal some time. 2 road wins in a row needed for Bowling Green's underdog story to continue through the Mason Cup tournament. Hello, Falcon fans. Ben Korak here from the Falcon Media Sports Network in the John McInnes Student Ice Arena in Houghton, Michigan for the second straight week of Falcon competition against Michigan Tech. And this is a desperation game for the Falcons. Michigan Tech's playing with a game. They can go to tomorrow. They have a win in hand, but a win tonight for the Huskies sends them on to the semifinal, and a win tonight for the Falcons forces a Game 3 between the Orange and Brown and the Black and Gold. Face-off men, same as yesterday. Max Koskapirti in his first line for Michigan Tech. Starting for the Huskies, Koskapirti, Sardarian on his left, Noah Reinhardt on his right. Bowling Green starting with Jaden Grant, Tyler Hodson, and Brody Waters, a veteran group of forwards alongside Dalton Norris and Ty Higgins, new defensive pairing for Bowling Green. And back in net for the Falcons, a change for Bowling Green after 3 games in a row of Tyler Palmer. It is Cole Moore in net today for the Falcons. Puck into the Bowling Green end of the ice. The Falcons look to get some offense going that they had very much early yesterday. A lot of offensive success, but a 2-1 lead Michigan Tech had through the first period against the Falcons, and they ended up coming away with a 5-3 win on an empty netter at the end by Isaac Gordon. This puck's whistled dead, and it's going to be a face-off coming at dead central ice. So we'll get a new set of guys on the ice and redrop puck with about 25 seconds expired here in the first and no score. Bowling Green wins the draw back at Stjernberg up the right side. He looks to dump and chase, but fired it off of a forward ahead from Michigan Tech at their own blue line, and the Falcons will circle back with the puck inside their own blue line. Stjernberg with the puck here, had a goal yesterday on a beautiful feed by Jackson Niedermeyer on a bit of a breakaway, but a good pass and a cleanup attempt by a defenseman, Gustav Stjernberg, who's got his 6th goal of the season. Pass to the slot, in tight with Bartoskevich, the goaltender for Michigan Tech. That was an odd bounce, and he nearly had to make the save with his numbers as he turned his back to the puck. Quickly into the Bowling Green end of the ice, Van Blaricom thought he was going to get to the puck first, but is whistled off as an icing against him, and winning the race to the puck was Jackson Niedermeyer. A minute expired in the first period. Bowling Green wearing their orange sweaters today, brown shorts, orange socks, and brown buckets. Michigan Tech, why change anything? They're wearing their creams with the yellow helmets. Shot in here from McKinley at the point. The rebound comes back up to the blue line. The Falcons with a second shot on goal, but it goes wide. BG holds the puck inside the blue line. It's Waters down into the corner for Hodson. His feed into the slot, never landed to Grant. It's tipped up into the other corner of the ice, right wing side, but BG still in the O-zone. Pinned up by Tyler Miller, the defenseman, was Tyler Hodson, the forward, and it's lifted away from Michigan Tech end by the Huskies, and Bowling Green will have to reset. Up ahead to Hodson, who was shoved down to the ice by Elias Janssen before the puck got to him, and it's defenseman for Michigan Tech that gathers. Trembecki took an early hit. Stjernberg digs the puck out of the corner. Behind the net of the Falcons is Connor Levis. Levis, third-line centerman today, and an interesting move for Bowling Green. Noah Morneau listed as a healthy scratch today. Now, whether or not he is actually healthy, we don't know, but that's what he's listed. Early shot in, an early save by Cole Moore, his first of the game, and he breaks it out to Max Martin out at center ice. That was a right-hand save for the 6'6" junior goaltender for the Falcons. Has been fantastic in the year 2026, although having some struggles in 2025. didn't get a lot of playing time. It was Steinman and Palmer, and then Steinman and Moore. Here's a shot, low angle, and a save from Bartoskevich. While Bartoskevich has been the netminder for Michigan Tech all but one game this season, Cole Moore does not have that claim. He has played in 13. This is his 14th game played. Tyler Palmer has played in 11, and Jacob Steinman, who is currently injured for Bowling Green, still on the injured list, so to speak, he has played 14 games. A couple of relief appearances for both Palmer and Steinman as this puck up into the netting off of a stick deflection from Caleb Parker, freshman defenseman. But you look at the goaltending group, 14 starts for Steinman, 13 starts for Cole Moore, and 8 for Tyler Palmer. A couple of big ones late on in the season in 2026, the turn of the year, and some pretty big ones last week. Got 2 wins against Michigan Tech for the Falcons, a road sweep. And then last night didn't play too poorly, had some odd deflections in front of him that the puck ended up beating the sophomore transfer from University of Alberta. Bowling Green wins the draw back in the offensive zone by Bartoskevich. Behind Bartoskevich, here's Emerson, looks to feed it into the slot, tight in with the junior goaltender, and he covers it up again. Another draw to the right of the Michigan Tech goaltender. 17:30 to go in the first period and no score. Owen Bartoskevich, a junior, a transfer from Lindenwood. He'll have another season of eligibility, and assuming that he'll stay with a pretty successful Michigan Tech team this season. Other years might have been one of the top 2 teams, but because of so much parity among the top 5 in the CCHA, all of them going into last week with a chance at the number 1 seed as well as the number 5 seed. All besides Augustana could have finished as the number 5 seed. There would imagine that he's going to stay around with a youthful and pretty solid Michigan Tech squad. Pass to the slot, broken up by Parker. Back to the slot again. Grant with a shot, and it's taken away by Michigan Tech. A good breakup by what looked to be Tom Leppa, the forward, back in tight with the netminder. And that was a big focus of the Huskies yesterday, is controlling the front of the blue paint from both sides of the ice, both offensively and defensively. And Bowling Green had 1 goal right in front of the blue paint. That was late in the game to bring it to a tie game from Jeremy Minville, or bring it within 1, I should say. Jeremy Minville to bring it 4-3, but not much success besides that, and Michigan Tech executed their game plan. Grant to Waters. He tried to streak to the slot, is broken up by Miller, who steers the puck and the body of Tyler Hodson into the left-hand corner of the Michigan Tech end of the ice. Van Blaricom couldn't peel it off the boards. His backup blue line McKinley. His shot in, trickles in towards Sloan as it was tipped up at the point. Behind the net again is Tyler Hodson, behind Bartoskevich of Michigan Tech. Sloan, pass across in front, nobody there. Adams Linka with the puck, now back up blue line. Slap shot McKinley, directed in. Sloan to wrap it around the backside, and a save by Bartoskevich, who closed off the right pipe. Michigan Tech looks to clear the puck. They do it out to center. Might get a couple of guys off, but Bowling Green looking to force it back ahead. Sloan just barely onside, but the puck is off his shin pad and down into the BG end. Deep pass from Crampton in his own zone to McKinley. Nearly a turnover, and it is. Trembecki to the high slot. Backhand pass in tight with Cole Moore, and Gordon couldn't settle it down. A good chance there for Michigan Tech on a turnover on the left side blue line. They have it at that same spot again. Trembecki, the freshman, with the shot. He pays a price. Gets it in toward Moore, who holds onto the puck. Trembecki not happy about the hit. It came from Brandon Wynot, the freshman, who's given him a talking to. And Trembecki's given the words back to the referee. But no call going to come besides a freezing of play and a face-off to the right of Cole Moore. 15:45 to go in the first period. No score and a couple of shots on goal for both the Falcons and the Huskies. Bowling Green with 39 shots on goal yesterday. Doesn't seem like a high number, but you put that in comparison to Michigan Tech's 18. That is a huge number of disparity. 21 shots on goal different between Bowling Green and Michigan Tech. A lot of those coming in the third period, but the second period actually the highest shooting period for Bowling Green, in which they tied in the amount of goals they scored, and although they outshot so much, they lost 5-3 with an empty netter at the end. Ryman nearly got the puck on a turnover in his own end, but it got it out to center to Koskapirti, who flung it back in for a deep ball chance. Here's Ryman. He took it up to center ice, now picks it off. His backhand pass to Duran, broken up by the skates of an encroaching Husky. Noah Reinhart Had a power play goal yesterday on nice puck movement right into the slot, and he had a one-timer that he beat Tyler Palmer with. That was one of the 2 goals that I would say really beat Tyler Palmer. The other one's some pretty odd bounces and a tough play for the goaltender that was left out on an island. Minville takes the puck in now out to the right side. Latimer was taken down to the ice by Quinn Emerson. A shot in toward Minville, camping out net front. He deflected it, but over the crossbar and away from Bartoskevich in the net of the black and gold. 14:40 to go in the first period. No score between Bowling Green and Michigan Tech in the Game 2 of the CCHA quarterfinal. Michigan Tech leads 1-0 in the series. Minville in the corner. He gets tripped up. Puck to Zlinka. Martin the shot. Save Bartoskevich. Low angle try. Wrap around the other side. Puck in front of the blue paint, and it's cleared away. A couple of sticks slapped at the puck, and it kind of 50-50 flew behind the net. Latimer with speed. He's a quick skater, Carson Latimer is. When there's a loose puck going into the O-zone, he's always on the forecheck and always, even steps back, has a chance to get to the puck first. 14 minutes to go in the first period. A quality chance for the Falcons. 9 shots on goal by both of these teams early. 5 for Bowling Green and the other 4 for Michigan Tech. Up center ice, Grant couldn't touch it. It's behind to Bartoskevich, who plays the puck out to his right side. Nearly held in the blue line. It is held in the blue line by Bowling Green. In toward Bartoskevich. He has to save it with his stick and direct it away from danger. Carson Burney tips it ahead. Cole Moore plays it over the head of the Falcon defenseman. Up to his own blue line goes Hodson. Ben Blaricom nearly picked off a kind of airline pass from Jackson Niedermeyer, who will step off the ice now. Puck in deep to Michigan Tech territory and a forecheck ahead for the Falcons. Zlinka up. Crampton couldn't peel it off the boards. It's behind the net of Cole Moore. 13-15 to go in the first period. An elimination game for the Falcons. Must win for them. Got a man in the slot. It's Trembecki, but from behind the goal line, Elias Janssen couldn't feed it in to the between the wheel area of the ice. Gordon rips it in again, down behind to Cole Moore, and clear puck possession for the Falcons. Gordon wanted another call. That was a hit in front of his own bench. But nothing coming from the referee, who had a very good look at that play. Rinked around by Zlinka up at the blue line. BG can't take it in. Zlinka was way off sides, and now he gets back. Kurodiak, extra skating defenseman today, gives it to Stjernberg, who fires it over the crossbar from out at center ice. Pass to the slot. Ryman just a bit late to the party, but BG's able to hold it in the O-zone. Stjernberg around the boards. Had that goal yesterday. Stjernberg did. A good feed from Niedermeyer, and Duran had the assist on that one. I'm sorry, Bertie Waters had the assist on that one. Duran, a different assist yesterday. Shot in, a left-hand glove by Bartoskevich. That was a lazy shot in, but just trying to get the puck in deep were the Falcons. And because of that, they'll get an offensive zone faceoff with 12:20 to go in the first, and still no score. Of the goals scored yesterday, Carson Burney, Noah Reinhardt, Jeremy Minville, Taden Trembecki. 4 of those 4 that I just listed, I should say, all freshmen, all scored those. And Max Martin, Gustav Stjernberg, and Isaac Gordon twice. Those 4 goals scored by upperclassmen, and this is a freshman parade for these two teams. 7 freshmen in the lineup for Michigan Tech, 8 for the Falcons, and if you count the goaltender that is normally healthy for Bowling Green and Jacob Steinman, that's a 9th for Bowling Green that they dress freshmen every night. They got 1 in Brian Lonergan, another freshman that doesn't play too much defensively, and Tanner Scott that doesn't see too much time for the Falcons as they keep the puck in the O-zone. But a lot of youth in these two teams that should be playing some tight games in the years to come, and they've had some pretty successful seasons the last couple, most notably Michigan Tech's Mason Cup winning run that they had in 2023. Up in neutral ice, picked off by Owen Baker. He takes it in, left side, gives it up, right side. Now Cicek back, good score! Sardarian! A goal against the Falcons to take a 1-0 lead, streaking through the slot, and a 3-on-1 man advantage for Michigan Tech on that rush. Gives them an early lead. Eight minutes, 22 seconds into the first period. Sardarian from Baker, who made the initial play to take it in down the left side. And a good give back as well from the right side. And Michigan Tech up 1-0 as they were yesterday. Bowling Green never held a lead yesterday and still don't this weekend against the Huskies. McKinley backhand lifts it into the corner. Jack Anderson the senior and transfer from Lindenwood, one of the best defensemen in the CCHA. He'll flip the puck out to center. It goes all the way through into Carson Burney and the offensive zone for Michigan Tech. Not very much offensive zone time for Michigan Tech on that goal scored, just enough to get the shot on goal on 2 straight very nice passes. That was Chichek and Baker combining for the assists. Zlinko will race into the zone for Jack Anderson, and Anderson much bigger the body, and he'll bump Zlinko away from the puck. Up neutral ice, Niedermeyer up ahead, right side. Moving in, Zlinka makes a man miss, tries to give it back to Brandon Wynot, but it's broken up. Van Blaricom lifts it back up to center, and Michigan Tech comes back up with the puck. Again, Michigan Tech does not lead in shots on goal, but leads in goals. That's been a big theme this weekend, is just capitalizing on the few chances they've been given. Fasciano, another shot, deflected by Wynot off of his stick and up into the netting. We'll get another stoppage of play with 10:32 to go in the first period, halfway through, and a 1-0 Michigan Tech lead. 12th goal of the season for Steven Sardarian, had 11 in the regular season. Owen Baker with the pass given to Chichek that was given to Sardarian. He got the entry, and he has his first point of the season on an assist and just his 6th game played. Owen Baker had 3 of those in November, 1 of them in February, and now 2 in March. Extra skated yesterday and some pretty nice shifts, and the same today for Baker, who's already got a point. Puck back out to neutral ice. Falcons with it as they skate ahead. Entry gain through the left side. Quinn Emerson. He reaches in, pushes it to the backside. Beat Bartoskevich, but nobody there from the Falcons to clean it up. Pass to the slot again. High slot. Karodiak. The feed in, and it's blocked. Tyler Miller caught that with his body just a bit. He takes the puck into the corner. BG holds it in the blue line just barely. Might have been offsides, but nothing's going to materialize of the hold by Karodiak. And now Michigan Tech circles their net and comes up with speed. Up the right side comes Noah Reinhardt. A drop pass back to Sardarian. Gives back to Reinhardt on an island in front of Cole Moore, and he makes a save. Nice save for Cole Moore. Defensive breakdowns again for the Falcons. That one, Reinhardt with a big chance all alone in front of the Falcon goaltender. Baker another tip ahead, playing with Laurie Ryman and Michael Chichek on this shift. Back to Martin. Martin lifts it backhand up to center ice. The puck is out of play. Apparently the referees didn't see, but it slowly gets dropped back down to the ice, so we'll get a face-off, I believe, in the Falcon end of the ice, as that's where the puck exited. 9:34 to go in the first period. Bowling Green, as the theme from yesterday to today, they lead in shots on goal, but trail in goals by 1. This time I brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee, craft beer, and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. Falcon Hockey down 1 in the CCHA quarterfinal. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Hello, my name is Reko Badurov. I play for the BGSU men's soccer team, and these are my Falcon 4 breakfast items. Number 1, I'd say, is eggs. Just good protein, good way to start off the day. Also really like waffles, just so good. You can put chocolate chips, whipped cream on it, it's amazing. Same thing with French toast, love like the cinnamon taste to it. And then I'd say yogurt too. Yogurt and granola, can't go wrong with that. So those are my 4.
Ben Korak and the Falcon Media Sports Network crew covering the Falcon hockey team throughout the season.
A 5-3 win for Michigan Tech yesterday in the Game 1 of the CCHA quarterfinal between number 4 Michigan Tech and number 5 Bowling Green. That was Michigan Tech's first win against the Falcons in regulation since Friday, November 29th. That in Bowling Green, Ohio, a 3-0 shutout win for Michigan Tech, and I believe that was Blake Pietola, the goaltender at the time, but I could be wrong with that assumption. That was their first win in 2 series yesterday, the playoff series and a regulation series in between. and they look to complete a sweep over the Falcons today. They have a goal lead after the win, or a game lead after the win yesterday. Dominic Ryman in first to the Falcons. They hold the puck in the blue line, fire it in over the head of Bartoskevich. Niedermeyer down the left side against Michigan Tech in the Michigan Tech zone, and it's out to center. Carson Burney with 2 Falcon defensemen there to gather the puck. Here's Ben Duran, back of his own net with Gustav Stjernberg and Jackson Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer with it out to Stjernberg up ahead. He's moved very well this series. Stjernberg has. He's been all over the ice. Now he takes this one down to the goal line. A nice shot in on Bartoskevich, saved up on a long rebound. Burney knocks the Falcon down to the ice. That was what looked to be Brody Waters. Jaden Grant in as well on the right side, boards up at the blue line of the Falcon offensive zone, digging for a free puck. Now it is back free. Moving to the middle, Stjernberg gives it up. McKinley, shot in. Bartoskevich, routine save made by the junior goaltender, and is back to the BG end on a clear for the Huskies. It's going to be whistled off as an icing, so they won't even bother going for a change. 8:34 to go in the first, 1-0. Michigan Tech leads off of Sardarian's goal, his 12th of the season. A very impressive player, his 43rd point of the season as well for Steven Sardarian. 2 goals and 2 assists against BG last season. His only goal in the playoffs was the only goal Michigan Tech scored in the playoffs against Bowling Green in the Slater Family Ice Arena. That, again, in the quarterfinal series of the Mason Cup in 2025. Behind the goal line, outletted, and a bank pass up ahead for Van Blaricom. BG trying to put pressure on the Huskies, who needed to force a change and get their tired skaters off the ice. Gordon took a check as he feeds it into the O zone. 2-man forecheck for Michigan Tech, but BG skates the puck away up the right side. Up off the glass in front of their own bench. Bowling Green will come back, gather the puck in front of their net. It's Cole Moore who saw that fly away to Brandon Wynot up at center ice. It's going to be whistled off as an icing against Michigan Tech, and it'll be dropped down in neutral ice for another face-off. Bowling Green leading today, 5 face-off losses, 7 face-off wins. Yesterday, stark difference in the face-off wins and losses for the two sides. The Falcons won 40, Michigan Tech won only 25. 65 drops quite a lot, but the winning percentage for the Falcons took a big bump yesterday, and they're up to 55% on the season. Very high in the CCHA, the highest by quite a lot. Dumped down by Higgins, and it's going to be an icing against the Falcons now. And it'll come all the way down to the right side of Cole Moore and Bowling Green's end of the ice. 7:45 to go in the first. An early goal by Steven Sardarian puts Michigan Tech on top. They led yesterday 1-0. The Falcons tied it up. They led yesterday 2-0. The Falcons tied it up. They went up 4-2. Jeremy Minville with a goal from a nice pass by Dominic Ryman put the Falcons down 4-3, and then an empty netter at the end made it 5-3 Michigan Tech. Reinhardt a shot, save made Cole Moore. He shrugs it off to the right side, and Sardarian has to take it into the corner. He's defended by Dalton Norris, the captain, ferocious on the puck and on the body. The Falcons playing desperate hockey today. They need a win to try and keep their season alive. Down 1 in the quarterfinal with the loss yesterday, and they need to force a Game 3 tomorrow on Sunday at 5 p.m. Puck still in the corner. It's Koskapirti digging at the puck are the Falcons, and the Huskies still a stalemate in that left wing corner of the offensive zone for Michigan Tech. And finally, Bowling Green takes it off the pile, and they look to break it out. Norris up the right side, a good move by Zlinka. He'll get to the puck first, and more importantly, get his guys a change as 4 new Falcons are on the ice to go on the forecheck. Connor Levis with Reed Andreessen, the defenseman for Michigan Tech. He has to lift it up ahead into Michael Cicek, who is not whistled, but the arm is up in the air. He was offsides, and he has to get back. Minville might have touched the puck. The referee said he did. Bartoskevich has to stop it behind his net. Up to the left side, the freshman Connor Levis, down deep for the sophomore, Max Martin. Jeremy Minville in the right wing corner, dumps it in deeper for Bowling Green. Back in the offensive zone are the Falcons. Wrap around, Connor Levis back up blue line, the defenseman Niedermeyer. Up to the right side, Stjernberg shot in. Glove save missed by Bartoskevich, but it's into the corner. He meant to freeze play with that glove, but couldn't squeeze it. Owen Baker up the right side. He generated the only goal for Michigan Tech today, and for between these two teams, that was Steven Sardarian's first against the Falcons since last year quarterfinal. Up the right side comes Owen Baker again. Gives it down toward the goal line to Tom Leppa. Back up blue line, picked off by the Falcons. That's Dominic Ryman on a nice defensive play with his stick in the passing lane. Loose puck in front of the BG bench. The defenseman Sternberg sweeps it back. Van Blaricom fires it in toward the goaltender of the Falcons, but it's picked off by Niedermeyer. Stretch pass up left side. It's Ben Duran. He's all by himself. Good shot off the post goes Ben Duran. What a shot by the junior, and beat Bartoskevich, but saved by the post was Michigan Tech. Now Janssen up the right side. Another good shot in and gloved by Cole Moore in the crease as Janssen was in on the Falcon goaltender. And that'll freeze play and a defensive zone drop coming for Bowling Green. 5:30 to go in the first period. 1-0 Michigan Tech leads. That's one Ben Duran, I'm sure wanted back, beat Bartoskevich above his left side arm and just rang off the post. Nearly a perfectly placed shot for the junior centerman. Looking to bring this game tied. Jaden Grant wins the draw back. It's Braden Crampton that takes it up the right side. Crampton, one of the more impressive rookies in the CCHA, a finalist for the Rookie of the Year award for the CCHA, was announced yesterday. 18 points this season on 3 goals and 15 assists. That would have been the leading Falcon defensive scorer last season, Braden Crampton, but he's just a freshman and he's got 3 years of eligibility after this. 5 minutes to go in the first period. The Falcons in the O zone. Waters trying to get to the slot. It's just long for Jake Sloan, and it's cleared back away by Michigan Tech out to center. BG dumps it in themselves, goes for a change, and 3 forwards up in the offensive zone. Breakout up the right wing, Tayden Trembecki, the rookie, with a breakaway one-on-one goal yesterday against Tyler Palmer, and an example of a defensive breakdown for the Falcons. They had a couple of those, a couple saved by Palmer, but a couple of them and a couple of key ones scored on by Michigan Tech, who have not missed on their few opportunities this weekend. Onsides, it's Sardarian up the right side. Sardarian gives it back up. Slap shot coming. Kalen Parker just saved by Moore. A nice play by the Falcon goaltender with 4:25 to go in the first on a screen slap shot from the freshman Kalen Parker. He's done a good job at seeing through traffic today, and he's able to make that save and hold on to the puck. Bowling Green still leads in the face-off department 9-6. They lead in shots on goal by 3, 11-8, and have 9 more shot attempts than Michigan Tech does. They've held on to the puck more than the Huskies, but the Huskies have just that one 3-man breakaway against one defender and Cole Moore, and we're able to bury it. Sardarian in the slot, and he doesn't miss those opportunities. Max Martin with 2 Huskies south of the goal line. Again, back to Martin behind the net, but too hot to land to his tape. And the Falcon feed, it goes off of Kalen Parker and up into the net. So a face-off to the left of Bartoskevich with 4:10 to go in the first. Falcons have played the Huskies 3 full times in the last week. Last Friday and Saturday, the last series of the regular season, Bowling Green and Michigan Tech. Falcons won 1-0 regulation night number 1 and in overtime night number 2. 5 points was 1 point short of what they needed for home playoff. So the Falcons had to go on the road. Falcons with a shot in, deflected down, beat Bartoskevich. That was a nice deflection by Dom Ryman, bunting it out of the air. His stick a bit high, but that you'd like to fall through and make Michigan Tech use a challenge on that. Ryman up on his own logo, takes a bump as he flips the puck in. Quinn Emerson chooses the right side, a turnover from Everson. His feed to the slot. Miller made the save, hammering away at the puck. Bartoskevich, the net, almost crashing over Bartoskevich. The crossbar tipping down on his skull. And now Crampton has to retreat and gather the puck on the clear from Michigan Tech. Up at center ice, BG really trying to take advantage of Michigan Tech, making sloppy changes possibly. 3:30 to go and icing against the Falcons, just a bit too eager to get into the O zone. And it's going to be on the left side of the offensive zone for Michigan Tech and to the right of goaltender Cole Moore. 1-0 Michigan Tech. The goal scored 8 minutes, 22 seconds into the first period. Steven Sardarian's 12th of the season. Michael Cicek's 6th assist of the season for the centerman, and the extra skater Owen Baker with his first point and his 6th game played this season. He's got both playoff games played, Owen Baker does, after playing quite a bit of last season for Michigan Tech. Hasn't played a lot this season due to being a healthy scratch, but has come up big this weekend. A couple of good shifts yesterday and a point today. Gordon to the left side, streaking in. Janssen, his pass to the slot is kind of bounding in there off of a stick of the Falcon. And now Max Martin and Adam Zlinka up ahead down the left side. A good shot by Max Martin over the crossbar and seeking for the corner. Now a 2-on-2 for Isaac Gordon. against Jackson Niedermeyer, and he flipped it past Niedermeyer and just goes for a change. Brody Waters trying to clear the blue line. It's behind the goal line for Niedermeyer in his own end. The defenseman Stjernberg up to neutral ice. Puck on the red line. BG takes it off. It's Jaden Grant down the right side. The centerman, the senior. His shot just missed. A wraparound try for Bartoskevich, but it was on the side that he was on, the post. His left skate hugging the red iron. 2:30 to go in the first period. 1-0 Michigan Tech leads. Braden Crampton with the puck up to the blue line. Breck McKinley with it. He crosses the other blue line, and now here's Tyler Hodson. Hodson's shot goes wide left to the crossbar. Bartoskevich let it fly and bounce out wider than the save would have taken it. Noah Reinhardt in. Good shot in toward Cole Moore, and a nice save. Still on the doorstep and cleared away by the Falcons up to the blue line. Michigan Tech holds it in, though. A deflection in front. Reinhardt couldn't clear it away. Up to the blue line, and finally up to Miller and Sardarian. Fasciano right side. Defenseman in deep and offensive zone territory. Now Sardarian will take it in to do the same, and a penalty upcoming. An interference call is going to go against Michigan Tech. Looks like Fasciano's going to go to the box. Ben Durand draws the penalty on interference. 1:51 to go in the first period, and BG will head onto their first power play of the night. An offensive zone penalty for Michigan Tech, a rare one to see, and especially one coming for Fasciano that does not take a lot of penalties. But he took one there, and the Falcons have a chance to tie it up. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first, a bit of carryover into the second if the Falcons can't score in the first, but not a lot of time. BG with the puck, one back. 1 for 3 on the power play yesterday. 2 opportunities in the second, 1 in the third. Niedermeyer working around the goal. Now loops back up to the blue line. He's got the puck, right wing, outside wheel. Now down to the goal line, back to Niedermeyer, up to the blue line. Slap shot, Niedermeyer. That was knocked down. Bartoskevich made the save. It's behind the goal line again. Carson Burney has the puck. His clearing attempt is going to be held in by Bowling Green. Higgins just barely, and then finally with pressure, Michigan Tech will clear it away. Ryman back in his own zone. 1:30 to go on the power play, and more importantly, 1:10 to go in the first period. Niedermeyer, right side, Niedermeyer in the corner behind the goal line. The defenseman loses the puck, a clearing attempt. Higgins couldn't hold it in. A bad bounce off of the boards, and Bowling Green has to tag up. Waters neutral ice with 60 seconds to go, and a chance to score in the first period. 1-0 Michigan Tech leads. Falcons on a power play. Up neutral ice, it's Ben Durand down the left side. Just inside the blue line, he flips it down behind the goal line. Miller, a clearing attempt. It's taken into the corner by the Falcons and the Huskies. Behind the goal line again, Koskapirti clearing attempt. Off the glove. Reaching up was Crampton to try and drop it down inside the blue line, but he couldn't hold it. 35 seconds to go in the first period. Whistle's going to blow. Hand is in the air of the referee. Don't know what the stoppage was for. And too many men on the ice. Michigan Tech's going to get another one. Carson Burney doesn't seem to agree with the call as he skates over to the bench. 4 guys on the ice in the clip on the board here for Michigan Tech. I don't know where the too many men on the ice was, but looks like it's just going to be 3 skaters for the next 31 seconds for the Huskies. 40 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Falcons. Carry over into the second if they don't score in this period, which has only got half a minute remaining. And a huge early opportunity for Bowling Green here. They had 2 power plays in the second period yesterday, back-to-back. Didn't overlap at all, but didn't score on either one of them. And Bill McCult and the Huskies are not happy with that call from the referees. Today, same as yesterday, Stephen McKinchick and Bruce Vita Jr., the referees, linesman Eric Froberg and Jamie Grace. Laurie Ryman will get put in the box, not because he committed a penalty, but for the team minor penalty of too many men on the ice, and 5-on-3 for the next 31 seconds here in the first period, and then carry over for both penalties. Falcons with the face-off win. Up to Higgins. Up at the CCHA logo blue line. He looks down to the right side, and Ryman now down a little bit tighter toward the goal line. Puck still on the right side. Slap shot Stjernberg. Big block by Jack Anderson and spins him. That one's a stinger, certainly. He wore that off of the right leg. Now up to Hodson, back blue line. Another slap shot coming. Stjernberg, well directed, tries to bury it on the backside of the Falcons. Bartoskevich able to make the save. Circles back around. Seconds remaining in the first period. Slap shot. Stjernberg. Big save. Bartoskevich. Time expiring. Don't know if it would have counted. Stjernberg took 3 clappers. 2 of them with very nice saves by Bartoskevich. The other one just missed the net. Falcons with good chances. The first period is over. Michigan Tech leads 1-0. The start of the second period, we'll see 9 seconds of 5-on-3 and then a minute 20 of 5-on-4. The Falcons with the man advantage. Michigan Tech up 1 after 1 period for the second night in a row. We'll send it back to the Cooling Center studio just a little bit, and then a special guest interview here from the McKinnis Student Ice Arena a little bit after that. Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Miss a BGSU sports broadcast? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to listen to past calls by Falcon Media Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Anna Sidek. I'm a freshman setter from BGSU volleyball team, and that's my 4 self-care habits. So the first one is drinking a coffee because it helps me to be just energized like during the day. Second thing would be reading a book. I'm a such bookworm and I just love it. Other one would be listening to music because like music keeps me calm and I just love it. And the last thing, but not the least, it would be like starting with Santi, our athletic trainer, because he keeps my body safe and everything. So I'm really grateful for.
Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media takes pictures for nearly all BGSU and Bowling Green related events throughout the year. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to check out thousands of photos and all the content.
This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back in the Cooling Center for your first intermission report. This first intermission report is brought to you by Rick Crow, longtime BGSU hockey fan and listener of Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM. 1-0 Michigan Tech in that favor over Bowling Green. First period reactions. Let's go with Dan Ryanauer with your first period reaction.
The Huskies must have been listening to kind of the end of our pregame show as we said you got to win the period and you got to have that lead after every period, and they surely did. So the 1-0 lead for the Huskies to get this one underway, just getting that one in for Sardarian. But, I mean, you look at the shots on goal, you're doing the best you can. You're taking every chance you get. Bowling Green has attempted 30 and has gotten 14 of those to connect. But Michigan Tech with a fewer shots attempted and a smaller margin of error, they've attempted 15 and gotten 11 on goal, one of those finding the back of the net past Cole Moore, so we saw that going on. But yeah, just not the greatest period if you're a Falcon fan, just not connecting. You go 0 for 2 on the power play as well. It's not a good look for the orange and brown.
Burkett?
Well, in my opinion, there was a couple of things I mentioned that I before the show started, I mentioned that I liked how BG played yesterday. There was a couple of things they needed to fix up. One of those being defensive lapses, and guess what they did? Not do that. They in fact continued to make multiple defensive lapses, including the one that led to Michigan Tech's lone goal for Sardarian. A poor pass that gets picked off, and all of a sudden it's a 3-man rush for Michigan Tech, and they take advantage of it. And they had a couple more throughout the period that Colmore was able to bail them out on. So it's playoff hockey. You have to be better than that. You can't let those keep happening. And right now, it might be the end of their season if they keep letting it happen.
Right. So I guess your kind of key to this first intermission is just defensive struggles, I would say. Because, like, Bowling Green, they're out shooting, like Dan mentioned, they're out shooting the Huskies. It's just nothing can get in the back of the net.
Yeah, their offense has been great, just like last night. The problem is that sometimes it feels like they're so focused on their offense that they leave a guy wide open and let him have a breakaway. which you can't do. You have to, even if you're creating a lot of offense, you have to always be aware of who's on the ice and make sure you're not resting on your laurels defensively.
All right. So I guess we got about a few more minutes to fill here. So let's take a look around the CCHA and see. We're just about 15 minutes away from puck drop for 2 different games. What do you guys want to see out of, or what are you guys kind of expecting? I mean, Burkett, you already told me your expectations between the Ferris State and Minnesota State series, but Dan, I never really got your expectations. Do you think Minnesota State comes out with a sweep before Sunday, or do you think Ferris State puts up a fighting chance?
Ferris State's kind of, yes, they've had their spoiler moments in the regular season, but I think Northern Michigan was more the team for that, so we'll see what can happen here, but it's definitely likely that Minnesota State will just get the clean sweep and then move on and take whomever is going to be heading out to Mankato next, whether that be Michigan Tech or Bowling Green. So we'll just see how that one goes along. I mean, BG's the only game going on right now is Ferris State. Minnesota State doesn't start till 7, and then Augustana and Bemidji State at 7 as well.
All right, so that wraps up the first half of the pregame show. We will be sending it to Ben Korak in just a matter of minutes or seconds with a special interview. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU softball finishes their weekend series down in Charleston, South Carolina against Charleston Southern on Saturday, March 7th at 2 p.m. Check out the recap of the game from the Falcon Media Sports Network softball beat team on bgfalconmedia.com. Your home for all BGSU athletics, news, and updates.
Hi, I'm Avery Anders, number 3 on the women's volleyball team. My Falcon 4 of my favorite songs I'm listening to right now is 20-something by SZA, Afraid to Feel, Swag Surfin', and Maneater.
Check out recaps of this and every BGSU hockey match online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Back here in the McKinnis Student Ice Arena in Houghton, Michigan, again for Bowling Green hockey against Michigan Tech, the CCHA quarterfinal in Game 2. Right now we have a very special guest on our broadcast today, Vice President for Athletic Strategy and Director of Athletics, Derek Vandermeer. It's so great to have you on the headset today. And
thank you for letting me be a part of this. Appreciate it.
We are especially glad that you got here safely. You were saying just a minute ago how much struggles you had getting up here, so we're impressed with the dedication that you have to getting up here.
This is a priority. I had to get here. Whatever it took, I had to find a way to get here.
Yeah, we see you at a lot of road games, especially when it comes down to playoffs, but getting out to be able to support these teams, especially on the road, how important is that for you to be able to do that this coming week for Cleveland and basketball and then doing the same here?
Well, I think it's with each one of our sport programs, my wife and I always talk about we want our student athletes and our coaches to know that they're a priority. And that's across the board. I mean, in a few weeks we'll be hosting a gymnastics championship, trying to get out and making sure our teams out. Last weekend I was up at Mount Pleasant, Michigan with our track and field team. In that last hour, we were competing for another championship there. I think that it's an important statement that this university supports our programs and that all of our programs are priorities, and we're going to do everything in our power to help to support their success.
Yeah, program support definitely been something in your tenure here that's gone up and up, especially in the fan department. And I just want to mention Bowling Green hockey with a couple of sold-out crowds, and especially the last game they played at home against Minnesota State. That was darn near sold out for senior night, and so much marketing positives that you've done in your time here. How is that done in trying to get more and more students, and not just students, but the community to be able to show up to Bowling Green games?
Yeah, our industry is so radically changing, and we have to find better ways to engage our fan base and make it very personal. The stories that we're telling around our programs, the coaches, their stories, the people that they're recruiting and bringing into our community, I want our community to connect with them. It has to be more than a transaction. It has to be a relationship. And our student athletes and our community and the athletics department, I want them to feel very connected with what we're trying to do. We've got a heck of a battle in trying to be relevant in today's changing landscape as we're going through transfer portal and losing and trying to to build in it, but I hope our fans and our community feel that this is a department that is unique and it's different. We're not going to be transactional in how we treat people. We're going to be very intentional of making our community part of what we're trying to build, and because of them, we'll have great success. And that's the only reason. All of our coaches know that. It's because of our fan support and our donor support and our alumni support and our campus and our faculty and our staff and our students. We'll be able to create an environment that's differentiated, so when recruits come on campus, they know that this is the place they want to be because of that experience. We know that secret sauce works for what's making Bowling Green so great today, and we're investing in that exact same strategy on how we're going to build athletics.
Yeah, key word that I heard there, especially when it comes to Bowling Green hockey here supporting today, is relationship. And such a relationship that this hockey program has with its fans and have for quite a long time. One of the biggest fan relationships that's had at Bowling Green. Just how do you view the relationship between the team and the fans and the community that's formed around Bowling Green hockey?
Well, I mean, let's just, I've said time and time again that our hockey team has probably one of the greatest historical stories as part of the university and its identity. Our fans around the country, whenever I'm out, are always talking about the significance of the success of the programs and what it means to this community. And so hockey is it's a treasure. It's one of our greatest treasures that we have, not just because of the program, but because of the players that went through here and what they've gone on to do in the sport of hockey in the NHL and in minor league hockey and, around the country, and all of their contributions to creating kind of that ecosystem of hockey. A lot of our alumni are heavily invested in that. And, finding a coach in Dennis Williams who kind of has grown up through that system and respects that past and legacy. It's not about Dennis. It's about our community. It's about Rob Blake, George McPhee, and Brian and it's, about all of these great people. That's what it's about, George Roll. I mean, Wayne Wilson. These individuals are a great part of who and what we are. And, Jerry York, have a chance to have him come back and really be a part of Ron Mason, that era. I mean, we have one of the greatest histories in hockey in the country. And the more that we lean into that storytelling of who and what we are as our identity, we'll build on that and we'll have great success.
Yeah, certainly, and it's funny you mentioned individual players too, because over the summer, before the offseason, before some other recruiting periods opened, Falcon Hockey was listed by a couple of websites as the #1 recruiting class. For yourself as the director of athletics and having hired head coach Dennis Williams out of the WHL and the CHL, and the knowledge that those players were going to be playing in the NCAA at some point, how nice was that for you to see such a youth core come into Bowling Green, and then also 8 freshmen in the lineup today, seeing that impact the Falcons immediately in this hockey team?
Yeah, so I've told this, and I said this during the press conference when we hired Dennis, was that I didn't want to just hire a hockey coach. I wanted to hire a general manager. I wanted to hire somebody who had really been serving as with the Silvertips, had been in kind of different roles, from how to build a fan base, how to market, how to do all of these things to help build the identity around a program, and not just a coach. And so, Dennis is different. I can talk to him about financials. I can talk about marketing strategy. I can talk to him about the identity of the program. I can talk about player recruitment, he is so diverse in the way that he looks at the enterprise. I feel that is so critical today to building great programs. Just being a coach is not going to be good enough in this changing landscape. You have to have somebody that really truly understands what's happening and trying to tap into a market position and differentiate us. We can't be like everybody else. We have to recruit people that understand who we are, respect our history, our past, and really lean into that relationship building that we're doing to build a great program.
Yeah, Willie, definitely somebody that covers all sides that you would want him to as a head coach and a general manager, as you said. As we wrap up our intermission report here, you look to the ice, watched a decent amount of that first period, and you know what happened yesterday as well. What do you think of this Falcon hockey team and what they're doing this weekend?
We're playing really well.
Yes.
This is a team you can't afford to make mistakes with, and I know that. I think we learned that last night. Our shots on goal were phenomenal, great. Yeah, we're doing a great job. It's just, but we can't afford to make mistakes. So we're going to have to, I think, as we start to go in the second and third period, we're going to have to make sure that we're playing with great precision, and we can't afford any mistakes. Let's get it done.
Vice President for Athletic Strategy and Director of Athletics, Derek Vandermeer, thank you so much for joining us today, and have fun watching the rest of the series this weekend as well.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Ziggy Zumba.
Send it back to the studio just for a minute, bring you back for the second period of action here in the John McKinnis Student Ice Arena. Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Are you a
fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network, you can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Hi, this is Emmy Butera with the women's soccer team, and I'm doing my favorite 4 candies. So my first one is Jolly Ranchers. My second one is Sour Patch Watermelon. My third one, probably Gummy Bears. And my fourth one, I'll go with Mentos.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Permission a minute ago, brought to you by Rick Crow, longtime BGSU hockey fan, listener of WBGU 88.1 FM, and specifically Falcon hockey coverage, and we're covering that today in the McKenna Student Ice Arena, Houghton, Michigan, the site of the Mason Cup quarterfinal between the number 4 Michigan Tech Huskies and the number 5 Bowling Green Falcons. The Huskies find themselves coming into the second period up 9 seconds after puck drop of 5-on-3 for Bowling Green, and then a minute 20 of 5-on-4 for the Falcons, continuing to go on a power play. Some very nice chances at the expiring seconds of the period by Gustav Stjernberg. Slap shots left side. Now back up to 5-on-4, 9 seconds expired. Right side, Stjernberg behind the net, gives it up. One-timer, Waters sent just wide. A nice chance, beat Bartoskevich, but missed the net. Duran down on the right side behind the goal line. One-time try again. Crampton dives to try and get to the puck, but he couldn't play it. It clears out of the blue line. Bowling Green has to reset. Now push forward to Hodson, and he sends it around the rink to Ben Duran on the right side. Had nobody up at the goal line, so had to go in deep. And now Stjernberg on the left side on the outside wheel. That's where he's set up his slap shot camp. Given to McKinley, trickles in and deflected away from the net. Pass back to the slot. Waters with a shot goes way wide right. BG's going to have to try to get to the puck inside the blue line. Can't do it. 30 seconds to go on the Falcon power play. Second penalty of the game for Michigan Tech. Another shot, another save. Bartoskevich. Down behind the goal line is Niedermeyer. Puck out and free. Michigan Tech's going to be able to clear it away. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Enough time for maybe one more drive and one more shot on goal if you're the Falcons. They don't have a power play unit out. They have just a set unit of guys, but are 5-on-4 for the next 10 seconds. Entering right now left side. Falcons 5-on-4. Grant down behind the goal line. Up to the right side, Emerson. Ryman comes out of the box in a second. Here's Niedermeyer with the puck. Good shot, and Bartoskevich made a save, shutting off the legs at the last second. Just goading Niedermeyer into that 5-hole and then cut it off. Now a pass right to the front. Good shot, just missed wide left. Ryman with that chance again. He's got a couple of shots on goal today, some pretty big ones. Successful penalty kills for Michigan Tech. They've been good at that all weekend. Anderson fires it in behind the goal line, picked off by Niedermeyer. Michigan Tech in the O zone for the first time in this second period, leading 1-0 with 2 minutes expired. Right side corner, back up blue line, Cicek. Cicek fires it in. Cole Moore steps out of the crease to make a save with his right kicker. Up the right side, Martin pokes ahead, gets his guys a change. That are short change to the O zone now and a long change to their own zone. Both teams that same formation with the benches across from each other. As we mentioned, plays into how penalties are formed. Here on a wraparound try by Janssen as he steered behind the goal line again. Is shut off by Cole Moore, who's the 6'6" with long legs. He's able to cover both pipes and doesn't really have to move too much from pipe to pipe. Minville on a forecheck, 2 defensemen back for Michigan Tech. It's Anderson, Jack Anderson. His shot up is deflected into the corner, and Michigan Tech will go for a change. Whistle, a hand in the air, the referee, Bruce Vida Jr. And we'll see what's going on here. It looks like the Falcons might be going to a penalty. Stjernberg's getting pushed off for 2. Interference is the call against the Goose. And the Falcons will go on a penalty kill, now coming off of unsuccessful 5-on-3 and 5-on-4 opportunities for about the last 2.5 minutes of the first and in through about the first minute of the second period. So penalty killer is out. It's Korodiak and McKinley. Defense, Jaden Grant out in the centerman dot to take the draw against Tom Leppa in a power play for Michigan Tech that's 1-for-1 this weekend. On the right side, just spinning it back around is Kaskapirti. Gives it up left side, Sardarian, south of the goal line, looking to move it into the slot. Sardarian to the right side, Jack Anderson, 2 in the skates. He couldn't get a shot off. Sardarian up to the middle. It's Anderson, gives it back to Sardarian. Now Sardarian pass to the slot, backhand out, right side, shot in, blocked by Emerson. Full sell on his stomach. Quinn Emerson, and now a clear from the Falcons off the glass. So BG will go for a long change. Michigan Tech looking to stretch it up. It's Sardarian, takes it up the left side on an entry. A check from Crampton takes Sardarian into the boards, and now Ben Duran up the right side. Still with the puck, got a man in the center. Duran with a shot over the crossbar. Short-handed try for Ben Duran. That's his second high-quality shot of the game. 2 very nice ones, one off the post, and that one just high of the crossbar. 16:20 to go in the second period. A minute to go on the power play for Michigan Tech. They have the puck behind their net. Bowling Green wasting a lot of time in the middle goings of this 2-minute power play. Kaskapirti up across his own logo and now into the O-zone. Niedermeyer is going to get to this puck first. Now can he clear? It's to Emerson. Emerson swips away to his forehand and ices it down. Now 40 seconds and a fresh unit for Bowling Green. Norris and McKinley at the red line. 2 forwards up ahead. Forecheck. It's Grant and Quinn Emerson. Emerson goes for a check on Carson Burney. Second unit out of power play for Michigan Tech. They have to skate on sides, and the Falcons with clean possession. No hinge from McKinley. He sends it in deep again. And 20 seconds and enough time for one more shot on goal for Michigan Tech. 1-0. The Huskies lead. 15:30 to go in the second period. Trembecki takes the drop pass, takes it up the left side with Janssen on that same side. Gives it to Janssen. Battle in deep. Latimer with the puck. Gives it back to Trembecki in the corner. Now back up to Andreessen up at the blue line. Right side. Good shot into Cole Moore, and he gloves it. As time expired, Stjernberg is going to get the green light to leave the box. And the Falcons with a successful penalty kill coming off of 2 power plays. 15:13 to go in the second period. 1-0. And that parade of penalties results in no scores for both of these sides. Only goal of the game, 8:22 into the first period. Steven Sardarian, 12th of the season, from Cicek and Baker on about a 3-on-1 breakaway. That the Falcon defenders were just late to the party, and that resulted in a balloon popper from Sardarian between the wheels. Bowling Green a face-off win. Crampton with it off the glass in front of his bench. Now a race for the puck. Minville into Fasciano and Miller. Minville kind of wins the battle there. It's behind the net as Minville got decked down to the ice. Baker gets his leg swept out by the stick of Max Martin. Still 50-50 puck, and BG's holding it in the blue line. Stjernberg in deep again. It takes a weird bounce off of the tall glass, and now Laurie Ryman skates it up the left wing. He's got a man down the right side. Pass back to the slot. Crampton just avoided a hand pass, pushed it ahead and away. Falcons haven't had any real breakouts on odd man rushes this weekend. Crampton, a good toe drag inside. Crampton working in. Shot to Bartoskevich, and he saves it with his right pad. Down behind the goal line again. Falcon defensemen are getting themselves caught in deep on offense, but then not being defended by the Falcons defensively. Especially by the forwards trying to pick up slack of those defensemen, trying to help on the offensive drive. There's a hand pass against the Falcons' dead center ice. It's going to come back into BG territory for the draw. 14:20 to go in the second period. 1-0 Michigan Tech leads the CCHA Mason Cup quarterfinal, Game 2. Michigan Tech won 5-3 yesterday over the Falcons, and Bowling Green needs a win today to force Game 3 tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then that'll be a must-win and elimination game for both sides today, just an elimination game for the Falcons. Up at the blue line, Kalen Parker sends it in. 2 men in the slot, both touch the puck. Neither one of them advance it toward the net, and BG pokes it ahead. Waters a race for the puck against the 6'6" Jack Anderson. 11 goals this season and 24 points for one of the nominees for Defensive Defenseman of the Year, and likely going to be a nominee for Defenseman of the Year, Jack Anderson is. Here's an icing against Michigan Tech, an offensive zone faceoff coming for the Falcons. In my mind, Evan Murr of Minnesota State and Jack Anderson of Michigan Tech, the 2 best defensemen I've seen in the CCHA. Probably should be the 2 in the running for the Defenseman of the Year award. Both of them demonstrating great defense and offense. And maybe the most impressive thing I've seen from Anderson in this week of watching him, that is counted, this is the 4th game, is how stable he is defensively and how well he moves for a man that's 6'6" and 222. A great athlete is Jack Anderson, who pins the puck up in the right wing corner now. BG in the offensive zone. Stjernberg and Norris back up at the blue line. Pass to the slot. Nobody there to clean it up. That was Dominic Ryman. That was just late to come up from beyond the red line. A pass in deep to Duran. It comes off the back of the net. Duran gets it back out to the blue line. Back to Duran with men at the blue line. Even strength, but looks like a power play opportunity for the Falcons. They dump it down deep to Caleb Parker. He's going to try and get it away. Turnover. Shot by Ryman. A good save. Bartoskevich just bounced right to the freshman for the Falcons. Ryman's been everywhere today. Stjernberg, his shot blocked by Koskapirti up into the net. Ryman's had some true grade A's today. He's up to 3 shots on goal, trailing just Stjernberg, who's got 4 and 8 shot attempts. Bowling Green is up to 20 shots on goal. 13:20 to go in the second period, and still have not been able to bury one. Yesterday buried 3 to the Falcons on 39 shots on goal. BG loses the draw. Here's Carson Burney, who takes it up across his own blue line. Lepa trying to get a 3-on-2, but he won't get up in time, and it's Higgins behind the goal line with Burney. Falcons looking to gather the puck in their own zone and keep the puck in the offensive zone. They're desperate. Here's a deflection, a very close one. Lepa and Burney with their sticks up at waist height. They knocked that down, and Cole Moore with a fantastic save on the deflection. That was a dangerous chance. Looked like Lepa actually got all of the puck and just knocked it down. Just a heat-seeking missile for the nylon, and Cole Moore has done a good job of shutting those off. 13 saves, a goal allowed. Bartoskevich, 20 saves, no goals allowed. Janssen in for the draw, one of 3 Finnish centermen for Michigan Tech. That's Tom Lepa, Elias Janssen, and Max Koskapirti. Koskapirti first line, Janssen second line, Lepa the fourth line, but takes a lot of draws for Michigan Tech on a bunch of different lines. Quick shot blocked by the Falcons, well defended. 2 defensemen in there who got credit for the block, but still a shot for Trembecki from the right side. Behind the goal line, back up blue line, Crampton has to step outside of the O-zone marker. Tipped ahead by Andreessen, who's out to center ice. Bowling Green breaks it up the right side. Andreessen out of the play defensively. Minville, good pass backside. McKinley, the shot. No goal, just off the post. Bartoskevich, while he's been great, has been saved by iron twice today. McKinley with that try. Couldn't necessarily tell if it went off the side or off the post, but I think it hit iron. Why not behind the goal line, battling with Zlinka. Zlinka turns the puck over. Looks back down to Why Not, defended by 2 defensemen. Lost the puck a second. Andreessen gets it out to Gordon and out to central ice, but it's to the Falcons on a loose puck. 12 minutes to go in the second period. 1-0 the Falcons lead. Sloan first to the puck in the own zone. Ryman gets to it on the left side as Sloan pushed it around the curved wall. Cicek defended by Higgins on a nice play. Higgins up with Norris is a nice defensive pairing for Bowling Green. Norris a stable defender and the captain, and Higgins much more all over the place with how he skates, but still one of the best offensive players on the ice just with how much he generates. 11:30 to go in the second period. Falcons trailing 1. And the game 2 of the CCHA quarterfinal, Michigan Tech leads 1-0 in the series. Ryman tried to swipe it to the slot. Norris between the man and the slot. Tyler Miller lost his glove, lost his stick down behind the play. No whistle dead. Ryman back to the slot, picked off by Burney. Nice defensive play, and now Van Blaricom up the left side. More of a defensive forward. He gives it back. Left side, Lepa. He's coaxed down to the goal line. Gives it back up right side. Good shot on his step out of the crease, saved by Cole Moore. Nice play by the junior. And a great chance by Michigan Tech. That's a grade A. Dancing with the puck there on the right side. Now Carson Burney, good move, looks in. Over the crossbar goes Burney. Up to center ice. Michigan Tech has to get back on sides. That's a flurry for the Huskies that haven't had much sustained pressure today. But they've got a couple of very clean shots on goal. Emerson couldn't win the puck battle. It's lifted back into BGN. The Falcons have possession. A Michigan Tech glove and stick down on the ice in the Bowling Green end. This one to the skate of Jaden Grant. He blew a tire as he caught that one with the skate, not with the stick. It's in the corner, pinned up by Grant now. 10 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the second period, and it's whistled dead as the puck could not be seen by the referee, and it's going to be a face-off to the left of the Falcon goaltender. Next stoppage after these 7 seconds, likely going to be our immediate timeout, and we're halfway through the second period. No goals since before the halfway point in the first period. Michigan Tech led 1-0 going into the first intermission. Koskapirti in for the draw. Noah Reinhardt, Steven Sardarian with him. Face-off one, back Sardarian, tips it back to his defenseman. Now to Sardarian, just narrowly keeps it in the blue line. Niedermeyer wins the race to the puck in his own zone. High slot, but the Falcons there first, and no cream jersey to get there. Hodson down behind the goal line. Somehow the defenseman, Braden Crampton, in first, down behind the red line for the Falcons. And now Sardarian takes it up to center ice. 2 against 3, he has to dump and chase. Sardarian won the battle to the puck. Reinhardt behind the net, tied up by Jaden Grant. Up to center ice again. 1 Falcon ahead against 3 Huskies. This game has gone back and forth a lot. Reinhardt has a man open left side. Trembecki, the goal leader. His shot, save made. Cole Moore tried to beat him down left of the left leg. Now the Falcons on sides, nearly a breakaway. Levis couldn't get the stick right to make a move toward the net. Trembecki tips it ahead again. He's had a couple of really nice chances. Taden Trembecki has, the goal leader for Michigan Tech. Just a rookie, and he couldn't feed it through on that chance a second ago on Moore. Minville in deeper. Picked up by Elias Janssen, lifted up to center ice. A bouncing puck, won by the Falcons. Minville in neutral ice in front of the penalty boxes. Fasciano rinks it around to Isaac Gordon in his own zone. Gordon looking to get the puck away. Falcons with intense pressure, especially with 2-man forechecks, which they've found success with this season on those 2-man forechecks. Gordon behind the net with Dalton Norris. Puck up to the blue line, a shot in, deflected in front. That one off of a Falcon, but goes wide of the net. Now the back door, working in, Kalen Parker, tipped in front. Parker in. Laurie Ryman was battling in front. It deflected off somebody. Looks like the goal's going to go to Laurie Ryman, or at least he led the line through the high fives of the Huskies, and a 2-goal lead now for Michigan Tech. Like to see a replay of this one because didn't know who that bounced off of. Kalen Parker with the original shot in from the right side. Another undefended look for Parker, who unselfishly elected to pass it rather than shoot it. And a good choice there, I'd assume. Michigan Tech scores their second. Laurie Ryman, the junior, has only played 10 games this season, including this one, and that's just his second goal and his third point. Parker with the assist is his 8th, and we'll see who gets the third touch on that goal. Looks like Michael Cicek might get his second assist of the game, and a 2-0 Michigan Tech lead. On the doorstep, Korodiak skates it away. In his own zone, McKinley and Waters ahead. Cicek just fires it in, and now with a 2-goal lead, Michigan Tech can play on their heels a little bit more. 8 minutes to go in the second period. Tipped up ahead, on sides for Grant. Grant in with the pass, not with his legs. Waters just blew up Jack Anderson. Big hit by Waters on the senior defenseman. Nearly turned the puck over. It's 50-50, pinned up on the right side board. Zlinka battling for it, and it's one back for the Falcons. That all from the hit by Waters. Lost sight of the puck was Quinn Emerson, alternate captain for the Falcons. Bartoskevich lost his blade in the net, but the puck was out to center ice. 7:30 to go in the second period. 2-0. Michigan Tech leads. Ryman a second ago from Parker and Cicek at the 11:37 mark in the second period. Puck up to center ice. Emerson ahead with Brandon Wynot. Connor Levis looked to get the give and go to Sternberg, and now it's broke out for Michigan Tech. Up the right side, Sardarian gives it up. Left side, Anderson. The disc pass was just up over the stick of Anderson. And luckily enough for the Falcons, the 3-on-2. No shot on goal. Shot in from the Falcons, stick blocked. It's out to center ice, and Bowling Green with possession as they'll pick it up. It's the defenseman for Bowling Green. It's Niedermeyer who forces it ahead. Martin and Levis and Minville. The Falcons still trying to find a line in this second period that's really going to bring them a lot of offense. Duran's done some, Ryman's done the same, but that line tired, and they haven't seen shifts in a minute. Higgins up to the blue line, pushed ahead. Duran, Minville, and Emerson, the three forwards on the ice now, and the defenseman will skate back to gather the puck. Niedermeyer with a bad pass. He gets it back, though, on a nice play by Ben Duran just to save Niedermeyer's poor pass attempt. Janssen down behind the net. Trembecki gets tied up and away from the puck. Away down the left side, BG lifts it off the glass, and Emerson races for the puck ahead. Tyler Miller almost into the BG bench. It's lifted over the heads of the Falcons standing in front of the BG bench and up to neutral ice. Been about 50-50 the last few minutes. 6 minutes to go in the second period. 2-0 Michigan Tech leads. Pass to the slot by Higgins. He stops it right on his tape and nearly pushes it right into the net, but good puck control from the rookie defenseman. Up the left side to Duran. Onsides as Ben Duran waits a second, now goes deep to Tyler Hodson. This unit back up on the ice now for the Falcons. Duran, Hodson, Waters. Waters behind the net with Hodson, and three Huskies battling for the puck. Grant also on the outside looking in. Stjernberg and Crampton back up as defensemen. Now Michigan Tech will try and clear. Trying to sneak behind the D is Isaac Gordon. Trying to split the D is Cicek. 2 points today. He moves it up to the left side. Takes a bump from Stjernberg. Now a bump behind the net in the Bowling Green end behind the red line. Up to the high slot. Baker the shot with screens. Ryman and Stjernberg encroaching in on Cole Moore. 5 minutes to go in the second period, and a glove by the junior goaltender for the Falcons. 5 minutes to go in the second period. 2-goal lead for Michigan Tech. No scores yet for the Falcons. This time out brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee, craft beer, and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU softball heads south to Charleston, South Carolina to face the Charleston Southern Buccaneers in a doubleheader on Saturday, March 7th at 2 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Jacob Kopaz will have the recap of the game on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for BGSU athletics news and updates.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
Back here in the McKenna Student Ice Arena, Houghton, Michigan, the host for the number 4 versus number 5 matchup between Bowling Green and Michigan Tech. Tech, the 4 seed, after taking 1 point last week against the Falcons in the last regular season series of the season for both teams, had a chance at the McNaughton Cup. The McNaughton Cup, for the regular season champion in the CCHA, was in town in this building in the McKenna Student Ice Arena, but the Falcons kind of played spoiler for that for the Huskies, although 1 point more was needed from Bowling Green, a complete sweep. They needed to get home ice, didn't get it, and thus are on the road. Michigan Tech won yesterday 5-3. Falcons trailing 2-0 today with 5 minutes to go in the second. For all BGSU sports news and updates, go to bgfalconmedia.com or BG_FMSN on Twitter X and BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook. Previews, recaps of BG hockey are on there, and we recommend you get any of your sports coverage from the Falcon Media Sports Network on those platforms. Norris up to center ice. Brody Waters in for the loose puck. It's now back to Grant, and he pushes it back to his defenseman. A hinge pass up. McKinley up the blue line. Jack Anderson will get to the puck first. The defenseman turns it over. BG working in tight. Bartoskevich. Hodson a shot. A cleanup try. Bartoskevich shut off that post. He has been so good with the puck in tight to him this weekend. Only 1 goal the Falcons have beat Bartoskevich right in that area on either post, right in tight with Bartoskevich. He's shut that off so well. That one goal, Ryman to Minville in the third period yesterday, brought it to 4-3. That didn't end up changing the outcome of the game. But getting to the blue paint, a big focus for the Falcons today, as it has been all season. They get an offensive zone faceoff, but really haven't been able to generate many shots in tight with Bartoskevich. Duran in for the draw against Lepa. He falls down on the puck, still loose. BG wins it. Ryman with a screener, his shot through the arm of Tyler Miller, but it's saved by Bartoskevich. Pretty much got a perfect view of that shot by Ryman, except it being a quick draw. Stjernberg, a bank pass to his defenseman, up the ice. Ryman loses the puck battle for that pass. Carson Burney kind of playing with Ryman there, and Ryman finally gets the puck back to his defenseman. Possession for the Falcons this weekend has gone nearly their way most of the time, I would say. Probably closing in on 40 of the 60 minutes. The Falcons have had the puck on their stick, but Michigan Tech has not missed really on their few opportunities that have been granted. And that's been the difference in this series. A 5-3 win yesterday and a 2-0 lead today. Michigan Tech with the puck on the left side. The freshman Trembecki moving it in, gains entry. Gives it back to Burney. His shot save made. Cole Moore looking for the 5-hole was Burney and then shut off. Minville goes for a hit, doesn't go for the puck. The pass to the slot and out of the back door, Gordon. He has to peel it off the boards. He fires it into the slot again, and the Falcon defenders place perfectly. McKinley went for the hit on the initial pass, and Stjernberg broke the play up. Minville off the glass ahead. Waters goes in and chases. Joe Prouty and Reed Andreessen haven't taken too many shifts today, but they are such solid defensive pair, as are all the defensive pairings in the game today. Extra skater for Michigan Tech is a forward. Extra skater for the Falcons is Ivan Korodiak, a defenseman. And that's what they've done most of the season, has extra skated a D-man. Behind the net, icing against Bowling Green. 2:51 to go in the second period. 2-0 Michigan Tech leads. If you're the Falcons, you'd really like to get one before the end of this period. It's a tall order to come back from 2 goals down. That's a feat that they had to do yesterday at points in the third, and got 1 goal toward the 2 goals needed, but not 2, and ended up falling 5-3 with an empty netter as the 5th goal for Michigan Tech. Just under 3 minutes to go in the second period. 2-0 Michigan Tech leads game 2 of the CCHA quarterfinal. Up to the blue line, Anderson the shot, a cleanup attempt from his knees on Ryman. He was knocked down to the ice. That's Laurie Ryman for Michigan Tech, not Dominic Ryman of Bowling Green. Crampton and Baker digging for the puck. So is Laurie Ryman, and so is Jaden Grant. Grant, an alternate captain for the Falcons, one of 2 forwards wearing a letter for Bowling Green. He and Quinn Emerson, and Dalton Norris, another senior on the leadership group, wearing the C for Bowling Green, and Gustav Stjernberg, the only non-senior. He an alternate captain, and he is a junior. Ty Higgins behind his net. He circles his net and around. Cole Moore up to the left side. Stjernberg pokes it ahead. Puck still in neutral ice. The Falcons still on size, looking to gain the entry. Higgins fires it in toward Bartoskevich. He struggled with the glove. He just kicks it into the corner on a try to squeeze it. 1:50 to go in the second period. BG trails 2. Up to neutral ice. Higgins the pass. Ryman's going to get called for offsides. Tyler Palmer didn't like the call. He had the best view of any Falcon on the bench, but it looked like it might have been the right call. Ryman just barely offsides with Emerson ahead too on a nice rush for the Falcons. $1:47 to go in the second. Shots on goal being led by 2 for the Falcons. Faceoffs won by 6. Leading are the Falcons. Total shot attempts 15 more for Bowling Green than Michigan Tech. And that kind of describes the way possession has gone too, but just hasn't really gone the way of Bowling Green on the chances being scored on. Yesterday, associate head coach Curtis Carr told us that they led in grade A chances, Bowling Green did, although Michigan Tech had 2 more goals than Bowling Green. One of them on the empty net, which I believe doesn't count, but just comes down to a capitalization. And not to say wasn't enough effort either, but Head coach Dennis Williams, during team meeting today, said that they need to give just a little bit more, the Falcon Hockey Club does, and they need a win today, an elimination game. 65 seconds to go in the second period. 2-0 Michigan Tech leads up at neutral ice. The hot skating, Max Martin, was broken up. And the puck is into the Bowling Green bench. 56 seconds to go in the second, a stoppage of play. Michigan Tech, I'm sure, willing to go into the third period with a 2-goal lead. They do a good job of keeping 3 guys back nearly at all times. They spread out to a man forecheck, a man at about the opposing blue line. And then a guy in the center dot and 2 guys back. Kind of a 1-1-1-2 formation, full ice, especially with Bowling Green possession. And they're very well coached. Bill McCult, a veteran of hockey, a veteran of coaching hockey as well. First season as the head coach of Michigan Tech hockey. Lindenwood, head coach last year, associate head coach of U of M from 2017 to 2023, and head coach of Tri-City, and an assistant of Michigan Tech. His stops as a coach, and also 256 NHL games played for Vancouver, New York, Ottawa, Minnesota. Now a breakaway. Janssen the shot, and it goes up high of Cole Moore. A nice shot on a breakaway. Didn't make a move. He was up the left side. Didn't really have a man open on the other side of the ice. Now trying to sneak behind the defense again is Isaac Gordon, and instead it's going to be an icing against Michigan Tech. That was Fasciano with the shot. Cole Moore's been solid today. 19 saves, 2 goals allowed, 905 save percentage, but Bartoskevich, 23 saves and 0 goals allowed so far. Allowed 3 yesterday, 1 in each period. Ben Duran wins the draw back. It's Crampton who dumps it in deep. Ryman lost his edge, gets to the puck first with Tyler Miller. Falcons with the puck in the O zone. Held inside the blue line just barely by Bowling Green, now on the right wing corner in the offensive zone. BG hasn't had much sustained pressure in the O zone. Now they have a little bit, but turn it over. That was Emerson streaking. His feet moving faster than his stick could get to the puck. And time will expire here in the second period with a 2-0 Michigan Tech lead. 8 minutes, 22 seconds into the first. Steven Sardarian in the slot from Chichek and Baker. 11 minutes, 32 seconds into the second period. Laurie Ryman, a goal on a pass in from Parker, and that from Chichek as well. 2 points for Chichek, no goals allowed for Bartoskevich, and the Falcons find themselves down 2 goals going in to the third period. 20 miles to skate for the Falcons and the rest of the season, and in the college hockey careers of the seniors, unless they can mount a massive comeback. Analyzing it from the Cooling Center studios will be Gavin, Nathan, and Dan, and they'll talk to you in the Marta Crow second intermission report. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
For the second straight year, Falcon Media Sports Network is partnering with WBGU PBS to broadcast Falcon men's and women's soccer matches. Tune in to WBGU PBS YouTube's live streams to hear Lucas Kleinmeyer, Henry Costco, and other Falcon Media Sports Network talent on the call.
Hello, this is Josh Erlandson on BGSU men's soccer, and these are my Falcon 4 teammates that I'd bring on a cross-country road trip. First, I'll say Trace Terry, because he's the Ox man, you know, good vibes, good music, whole time cross-country. Beto, because I've lived with him for 3 years, so I know he won't annoy me, and I know he'll be prepared for the trip too. B-Game, he'd plan a good trip, so that's probably why B-Game. And then the last one would be Jake Lane, you know, because energy the whole trip, you know, that'd be good for the vibes too.
On September 13th, BGSU men's soccer's Bennett Painter scored the game-winning goal against Northern Illinois, leading to the team getting nationally ranked. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer had the call on the WBGU PBS YouTube channel.
Couldn't win that one initially. Head up again.
Wins the second one, however. Back to lane, back to Painter. That one's blocked, gets it back. Painter! Brandon Painter paints another masterclass at Cochran Stadium.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
And on the road they are. Taking on Michigan Tech 2-0. The Huskies are outscoring the Falcons here. And the second intermission report. This second intermission report is brought to you by Marta Crow, Falcon hockey fanatic and avid Falcon hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM listener. Second intermission, boys. Second intermission report. It didn't get very much better since the last time we spoke. Michigan Tech was able to score another goal on the Falcons pretty early in the period. But Burkett, I see your legal pad over there. You got some things you wanna. So let's toss it to you first. Your second intermission thoughts.
Well, I mean, there's not much to say. It's a couple more defensive lapses still costing them. They do not have the same offensive output they did in the first. They still currently lead the shots on goal battle overall, 23-22. But Michigan Tech is the problem for BG right now. Is we talked about in the first period, other than the defensive lapses, which I kind of had a rant about, but you were still, for the most part, outplaying the Huskies. It's starting to get a point now where you're trailing them and they're trying to outplay you. So if you're trying to make a comeback, it's going to come down to luck, which historically does not work out. So not too bright right now for the Falcons.
I mean, on paper, you have a better chance trailing after the second period so far this season. You're 3-7-4 trailing after the second period. Trailing after the first period, you were 1-4-5 throughout the entire year. So you do have that under your belt. However, the odds are still stacked against you if you kind of think about it. You're down by 2 goals. You need to get this one going along. And it's going to be interesting to see how this one can kind of, follow suit and go through for the Falcons. You really need to get this one back. You really need to continue on as of now, you don't have it going in your favor, and that's a difficult thing that I think you need to process and really just kind of kick it up a notch going out throughout the game.
I mean, here's one thing, though. I probably may bring this up later, but going into this third period, it's do or die for the season.
Oh, yeah.
And part of that, though, is that it's do or die for this seniors, the group of 6 seniors, their careers. And so that's something else I feel like expect Jaden Grant, the assistant captain, Quinn Emerson, the alternate captain, Dalton Norris, the captain, Jackson Niedermeyer. Expect them to really step it up in the third period. Not that they haven't been playing well already, but expect them to step it up in the third period. Expect them to maybe – we always talk about maybe like Coach Williams will give a big pep talk in the locker room. Expect maybe the seniors to really give a pep talk, say, I don't want to be done yet. I have more to give to this team and to give to my career. Just one more game, guys. So maybe expect a big jump just for the seniors and in their what could be their last 20 minutes of college hockey.
It really could, and I mean you got to continue this one and try to force a third game tomorrow, but you still have the odds against you. I mean, you look at so far this year and kind of what's going on, and you look at specifically the shots on goal. You had a little bit of a, leeway, but now that's kind of going right back. And I mean, you look on paper, you got 9 wins so far this season when you've allowed 20 shots. You get into the 30-shot range, your record drops to 4-2. So we could see that because, only 8 more until you get to the 30 right now. Bowling Green has the favor in the shot total. They're just not connecting on those at all, and it's really just difficult for the Falcons, and you really need to connect. You need to click the pieces together, if you will. You're getting that first step. Now it's time to get the second one.
Yeah, to follow up off of Burkett, I was gonna bring that up too. It's almost up to you've had coach spiels almost all season long. It's up to the seniors, man. you got to step in and be like, yo, like, that's not how they're going to talk, but they're going to be like, look, like, this is, like, my last time, like Burkett said.
I'm not done yet.
I'm not, exactly. That's a great way to put it. I was going to bring up, I think, Quinn Emerson. Quinn Emerson has almost been, like, you hear his name every single week, I feel like, when we cover Falcon hockey. And Quinn Emerson only has one shot on goal, and one block. Like, I feel like Quinn Emerson hasn't really, I mean, he's probably getting more involved in other aspects, but, like, start getting it to your star powers, you know what I mean? Like, the Falcons, they have these guys who can get goals for them, but you're just not seeing it. Sternberg, I kind of feel like start getting in a couple more, push it over the edge a little bit more. This is the last time.
Yeah.
This is it.
Hey, you only have 20 more minutes. If you lose this game, a suspension doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Not that we're encouraging him
we're not
to
condoning
be violent,
that.
But if he were to,
this is the sport of hockey.
No
it comes
real
with
repercussions.
It comes with it, and you know what you sign up for whenever you put the bucket on. But we'll be right back here on WBGU 88.1 FM for Around CCHA, Around Falcon Media Sports Network, and our final thoughts heading into this third period. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
My name is Kyle Blassingame from BGSU Men's Soccer, and my Falcon 4 favorite hobbies are Kirby, which is a game created by BG Men's Soccer. My second favorite hobby would be Salute IIO. I recently bought a PC and I've been gaming it. My third favorite hobby is playing golf with Kyle Cusimano. And my fourth favorite hobby is watching Game of Thrones with Brendan Graves.
On October 4th, 2024, BGSU volleyball opposite hitter Lauren Hovey recorded her 115th career service ace in BG's comeback reverse sweep of Western Michigan, passing Paige Penrod for the most in program history during the rally scoring era. Falcon Media Sports Network's Chaz McNeil had the call of the historic moment on WBGU 88.1 FM.
And that will make history. Lauren Hovey's 115th ace in the rally scoring era is in the history books as the Stroh Center applauds.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
You are tuned into live BGSU hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network.
Back in the Coolant Center, Gavin Gill, Dan Ryanauer, Nathan Burkett around the CCHA, and let's do around college hockey. Any games that kind of pique our interest here in the Coolant Center. Ferris State and Minnesota State. That game is a minute 10 left in the first, and it's still 0-0. And Bemidji State taking on Augustana. There's a minute 10 left in that one too, odd enough, and it is also 0-0. So the only other game tonight is going to be puck drop at 8 p.m. Lake Superior State taking on St. Thomas, and they're all three of these games. Second game of the series where Minnesota State took the win, Augustana took their win, and St. Thomas took their win in their games respectively. Defensively, we talked a little bit more about offense earlier. Who do you guys want to see step up a little bit more on the defensive kind of side? I mean, we've had some of the top defense. You get what I'm trying to say. In the CCHA, couple of players of the week. Who do you guys want to see kind of like step up a little bit more in the defensive aspect of this game?
Gavin, my pick is someone who's actually having a great game, has 4 shots on goal, has a block shot, but you mentioned there's an aspect of their game that I want to see a little bit more of. I want to see Gustav Sternberg. It's the final period, potentially of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Get in some post-whistle scrums. Try and draw some penalties. Don't take stupid penalties.
Exactly.
Turn it up. Lay somebody out.
And that's the whole point. You don't take stupid penalties, but get in their head.
Yeah, don't take stupid penalties, but turn up the aggressiveness. Start laying some guys out. Get some momentum. Get in their head. Anytime Steven Tardarian, Isaac Gordon, any of those guys touch the puck, I want, if I'm Coach Woolley, I want whenever like those star players from Michigan Tech touch the puck, I want them to be thinking, where's Gustav Sternberg? Where is he?
Is he going to hit me?
Yeah, is he going to hit me? Is he going to lay me out? Is he going to put me in row 8 of the John McInnes student ice arena? Be in their head. Live in their head rent-free. Do whatever you got to do. Win the game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at Sternberg right now. He's already got a penalty today, but, that's the guy that you want to see a little bit more out of just because, he's the aggressor. He's the guy that's going to make it happen. I mean, he's already done plenty today. He's attempted 8 shots. He's got 4. He's tied with all of the Falcons for shots on goal with Dominic Ryman at 4. So definitely seen quite a bit out of him, but there's always a little bit room for more. So, I mean, let's get the puck. Let's get that tandem going of Ty Higgins and Gustav Sternberg. Higgins can move the puck and pinch beautifully, and then let's get Sternberg to lay the boom.
I like that.
Also, I will point out that physicality statement doesn't just go for Sternberg. Brandon, why not? He's been known to lay the body around this season. Jeremy Minville, he's laid a couple of big hits. Jackson Niedermeyer lays a hit occasionally. Braden Crampton. All these guys have been known to lay the occasional big hit. Sternberg, I feel like, is the most known for it, but all of them, as well as anyone on this team, it might be the end of these seniors' careers. Go out there, lay the body, do whatever you got to do. Live in their heads rent-free. Do not go out without a fight.
Exactly. So that's going to wrap it up here for the second intermission report brought to you by Marta Crow. We'll step away for a quick 30-second break and then send it out to Ben Korak for the conclusion of this third period against Michigan Tech. You're listening to WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces more feature stories about BGSU athletics than any other media outlet. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com and follow Falcon Media Sports Network at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date with all of our content.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
20 more minutes to go in the season for Bowling Green if they're not able to mount a pretty solid comeback. 2-goal lead for Michigan Tech, 2-0 at the start of the third period. The Falcons and the Huskies and the Mason Cup quarterfinal game 2. Game 1, a win for Michigan Tech, 5-3. And the Falcons in game 2 trying to force game 3 tomorrow at 5 p.m. if needed. The Falcons and the Huskies have played in the CCHA quarterfinal both of the last 2 seasons. 2 seasons ago, Michigan Tech swept Bowling Green here in this building. Last season, Bowling Green swept Michigan Tech and the Slater Family Ice Arena, and the draw for home went to Michigan Tech. And they are threatening a sweep again for the second time of the Falcons in the last 3 years. Michigan Tech is offsides. Sardarian touched the puck. Falcons took the face-off win into the offensive zone, immediately turned it over. And then Michigan Tech took it back up, but it's going to be dropped just in front of the Bowling Green bench outside of the zone housing Cole Moore. Moore's made 20 saves, 2 goals allowed, a .909 save percentage. Owen Bartoskevich for Michigan Tech, 23 saves, no goals allowed. He's been pretty good in the 3 full games played plus today that he's played against Bowling Green. He lost both games against the Falcons last week, and the first he lost in regulation with only 1 goal given up. This play just barely onside. The Falcons with the puck in the corner. Tried to get it in deep to Duran, deflected off of a Michigan Tech Husky, and it's back around. The Falcons nearly pick it off. That was Emerson. He tipped it away from the Husky, but off the Husky, and it's going to be whistled off as an icing, and it's going to come back down into the other end of the ice where Michigan Tech is. Bartoskevich on the left side of your radio dial, the Falcon goaltender Cole Moore on the right side of your radio dial. Just about 45 seconds expired here in the third period. 2-0 Michigan Tech leads. Sardarian and Laurie Ryman, the 2 goal scorers. Taken off the pile, Van Blaricom skates away with the puck. Gives it to the right side, Carson Burney. Van Blaricom blew a tire, so the pass across to the slot didn't land, and now the Falcons will take it up with speed. Tyler Hodson up the right side with Grant trailing him. Hodson will go in on Fasciano to try and dig the puck free. BG will have to live in the O-zone. They're desperate. If they weren't coming into today and they weren't coming out of the first period with a goal down, they are in this third period with 2 goals down. Janssen crosses it to the slot. Picked off by the Falcons up at the blue line and carried all the way through. Hodson got a touch, not going to be an icing, but it's going to be possessed by the black and gold wearing cream jerseys today as Michigan Tech. The Falcons in their orange, switching up from the brown jerseys they wore yesterday. Coaching staff wearing a different polo and not wearing their normal suits here in the road rink. A lot of switch-ups for the Falcons trying to switch their momentum they didn't have much of yesterday. Pass up to the blue line. McKinley steers it away as he lost the puck just for a second. The pass to his left side. He's a right-handed stick. Turned over to Michigan Tech. They're able to clear it out to the blue line and outside of the blue line. Out to Crampton. He gives a slap shot in toward Bartoskevich, which misses the net. The Falcons have had some pretty solid opportunities today and have had 23 shots on goal. Michigan Tech has the same, but have converted on their 2 shots. And they had a lot of shots on goal in the last half of the second period that they started playing much more evenly with the Falcons, and easy to do so when you have a 2-goal lead and can play a little bit more free and conservative. 17:47 to go in the third period. Bowling Green with an icing, and it'll come back down on the Falcon end. Bowling Green has not really found a line that has separated themselves as the number 1 line today. The line on the ice is Jake Sloan and Max Martin and Jeremy Minville. Sorry, Adam Zlinka and Jeremy Minville. Defensive pairings have played pretty solid today. Haven't allowed too many breakaways. 1 3-on-1, but it was very nicely played by Michigan Tech. Here's an in-tight chance for Ryman, looking for his second of the game, and Cole Moore shuts it off. Both Cole Moore and Owen Bartoskevich have been very good when pucks get in tight. One of the goals scored today, that was Steven Sardarian beat Cole Moore on great puck movement that made him look what would have had to been 2 directions at once. But the second goal by Laurie Ryman, just a deflection. He was the last one to touch the puck, but it hit off another Falcon as well. And that's 3 goals this weekend that have tipped off the Falcons. If not last, that tip kind of led to the feed. And some unfortunate breaks for Bowling Green this weekend, although they have had a lot more opportunities that they weren't able to score on. Down on the right side, Emerson getting back to the puck. It's Fasciano that sweeps it away around the curved wall and into Niedermeyer. Back up to the blue line. Duran backhands it down. Right-handed shot is Duran. Niedermeyer with the shot in. Bartoskevich saves it with his right arm, reaching out. Up to the blue line, now slapped into the corner by Sternberg. It was kind of a loose bounding puck, and he wouldn't have been able to get a pass or a shot off. Niedermeyer again ahead. It's going to be an icing, and he knew it. And Bowling Green will skate a bit tired here as an icing with 3 minutes expired goes against the Falcons. Game 2 of the CCHA quarterfinal. Michigan Tech up 1-0, and the Falcons down 2 goals. Pretty much 3 goals in a row are what the Falcons need to force a Sunday Game 3. Best 2 of 3 the Falcons season, depending on these last 16 minutes and 58 seconds. Sternberg with it, lifts it out to center ice. Emerson just a bit long for him, and it's going to be whistled as a hand pass against the Huskies. Jack Anderson reached over Emerson to knock the puck ahead and away from the orange and brown. So no zone face-off now for the Falcons. They have 7 more face-offs won, I should say, and the same amount of shots on goal as Michigan Tech. And yesterday is really going to be the day to look back to. Such a key game to get a win in Game 1, especially on the road, set the tone for the series in Game 1, and Michigan Tech was able to do that, even though the Falcons might have outplayed the Huskies. And I think a lot of people would tell you that Bowling Green outplayed the Huskies, and the Huskies just simply got a couple of chances that they fed in that the Falcons weren't able to. And that's the difference in every game, but especially yesterday and in the playoffs. Can't leave opportunities to a team as good as Michigan Tech is. Higgins forces it ahead. The Falcons have to get back on side, and most of them go over to the bench. And a new 3 guys back on the ice. Hodson on the forecheck, a rare forecheck from him. Normally the second guy in, or he'll stay out at neutral ice. Anderson takes it up the right side, around the curved wall, and down to Gordon. Gordon looks to find a cream jersey, but it's picked up by the Falcons behind the net and out to center ice. Levis pushes ahead. Why not a bit slow into the play? He puts a check on Joe Prouty here. It's in the corner. Minville with the puck. Back up to the blue line. Falcons with it. In the O-zone. Now off the half wall to the side of Bartoskevich. He cuts off the left wing wheel. And a slot. Chance taken away. Up the left side comes Isaac Gordon. He's got the puck with an entry. 3 ahead. Trembecki, right side, tries to feed into the slot, and it's picked off by Stjernberg. A nice defensive play. A 3-on-2 rush for Michigan Tech, and nothing really ever materialized. Tyler Miller touches the puck before the icing. Bowling Green, again with a one-man forecheck. They got to bring 2 guys up here eventually and try and force an ozone turnover. Duran racing back for the puck. Going to be an icing against the Huskies and come back down to the left side of your radio dial. 15:20 to go in the third period. 2-0. Michigan Tech leads. 2 goals to make up for the Falcons. I guess hoping for overtime, but they need 3 in a row no matter how they get them. And even that won't be enough to win the series. They need to win a game tomorrow as well to continue on to the semifinal. Last year against Michigan Tech at home, the Falcons won their first playoff series in 5 years, their first home playoff series in 6 years. Went on to the semifinals for the first time in Mason Cup, newfangled CCHA history. McKinley chops it into the corner. It's in for Dominic Ryman and Quinn Emerson with Ben Duran as well. They've shortened it down to a couple of main forwards and has been the highest scoring forwards. And again, worth mentioning today, Noah Morneau, who takes a lot of shifts late in the game, a healthy scratch. Why? Do not know. Listed as healthy, could be injured, but Noah Morneau nevertheless out of the lineup today for what could be the final game of the season for the Falcons if they don't win. Behind the net, Van Blaricom in the corner. BG goes to dig for the puck. It's Niedermeyer out to Emerson, who tries to tip it ahead outside of his own blue line. Bowling Green's got 3 back, and they have the puck. McKinley with it. Bernie on a forecheck. Michigan Tech bringing just 1 guy up, and they're keeping about 4 guys back behind the red line. Just barely kept inside the blue line. A nice play. Stjernberg, slot try. Hodson, and it's blocked. Stick on the puck for Bernie. But his shot goes up into the net. BG with an O-zone draw, and a nice play for Stjernberg to keep the puck inside the blue line with his skate and keep some offense going for the Falcons. No sustained pressure really since the first period. Falcons haven't had too much. 14-17 to go in the third period. 14 shots on goal in the first, 9 in the second, and just 1 so far in the third for the Falcons. 11 shots on goal each of the first 2 periods for Michigan Tech, and 2 so far in the third. The Huskies scored a goal in each of the first 2 periods and lead 2-0. Pass to the slot again, deflection, no rebound. Bound back into the end of Bowling Green. Hodson and Ryman have really been the 2 most threatening forwards to the Huskies. A couple of defensemen doing pretty well today for the Falcons. Here's Hodson, a nice shot into the right arm of Bartoskevich, and he saves it into the net. Hodson and Ryman, if you really want to feed the hot hands, they're kind of the guys to go to. Tyler Hodson, one of the leading scorers for the Falcons in the year 2026. His last 4 points in his last 6 games played have all been goals. No assists since February 6th against St. Thomas. And he had a very nice goal last week against Michigan Tech to tie the game up, force overtime, and Jackson Niedermeyer with the game winner in that game. Bernie up ahead, broken up by the Falcons as he streaked toward the Falcon net. Duran behind the net for Higgins, and Higgins circles it and looks up ice. Ryman gets a tip, so does Lepa on a touch of the puck. Bartoskevich kind of fanned on the pass, which behooved him because the Falcons were ready to pick it off. Now a 2-on-1. Bernie with the puck. Blocked on a good sell. Sliding in on the pass was Higgins, full body prone. Bowling Green forces the puck up, goes for a change. A 2-on-1 breakaway stifled by Higgins on a nice defensive play, and not really a breakdown for Bowling Green, but still an offensive drive. Never mind the chance. Niedermeyer behind the net to Zlinka out to the right side. It's Janssen going for the puck for Michigan Tech. They take it back, the Huskies do. Up ice and an entry for the Huskies. The pass blocked off by Crampton, playing pretty even here in the third period, but the Falcons need to find an edge somewhere. Under 13 to go in the third. 2 goals up are the Huskies. Janssen fires it in. It's in the corner. The Falcons dig the puck out. It's Brandon Wynot back defensively, playing back on the fourth line today. He moved up to the second line with some very nice play the last couple of games against Michigan Tech. Makes a good move here. Working in is Wynot. Slinka on the back door. Couldn't clean it up. A loose puck. He had a great chance and just couldn't feed it in. Blue line, Sternberg slap shot. 2 men battling in front in orange and brown, and neither one of them could knock it in toward Bartoszewicz. It's out to Michigan Tech and away. Sternberg going for the puck. Owen Baker bumped down and then trips up Sternberg. Puck still free, and taking it around the net is Norris with Sternberg back with him. Bank pass up. Anderson picks it off and again skates it back into his own zone. An O-zone turnover. Jaden Grant stopped the clearing attempt from Anderson. 12 minutes to go in the third period. 2-0 Michigan Tech leads. Ryman up ahead. Right side entry. Tipped by Waters. Touch there behind the net. Why not? Nobody in the slot for him to give it to. Going into the corner. Prouty with the puck. Held in the blue line by Bowling Green. Nobody there to carry the held puck. And Noah Reinhardt ahead. Pass to the slot. Nobody there. BG tries to sneak behind the defense. It was Ben Duran streaking. Offsides against the Falcons, so Michigan Tech will come up away with possession guaranteed. Crampton up in front of his own bench. Emerson tried to back pass it to Duran. Now down the left side, a good move by Max Kaskapirti to try and move into the slot, and the Falcons defended it. 11 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third. Still no real desperation drive for the Falcons yet. They haven't been able to put together much offensively. Michigan Tech's just playing guys back enough that Bowling Green can never really break through. Just trying to not make a mistake is Michigan Tech. And Bowling Green's got to do something to force a turnover or turn the tides their way. Just one goal could get the Falcon momentum into this game, but that one goal is going to be the struggle for the Falcons. Max Martin, the first into the zone. Trailing the puck is Connor Levis. Free puck in the corner. BG takes it away. Adams Linka's had some very nice shifts today, newly in the lineup after 2 not playing. In tight with Bartoszewicz, slapped wide by the Falcon, encroaching, and it was Linka. Norris holds it in. He takes a tumble in front of the Michigan Tech bench. Right side slot, outside wheel, McKinley. He works in. Pass to the slot, deflected. Van Blaricom clears it away. And with speed ahead, Carson Burney. Race for the puck against Dalton Norris. Norris able to seal off Burney. A late hit on Burney to emphasize his point that the icing was against the black and gold. 10 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third. BG with a couple of more shots on goal as we've stretched later into this third period. They're up to 4 in this period, 3 for Michigan Tech. But still no goals. And none of the other stats or play matters for Bowling Green in an elimination game. Jaden Grant for a faceoff with Waters and Tyler Hodson. Back up at the blue line, it's Sternberg and Higgins. Left side, Higgins couldn't keep it in the blue line. Sternberg circles back to gather it. Burney on the forecheck. Carson Burney has maybe been one of the best players on the ice for Michigan Tech this weekend. Played so well defensively and generated some offense as well. Sternberg takes it in, weaves through some forwards, and shoots the puck. It's off a stick and into the net. 10 minutes to go in the third period. 2-0. Michigan Tech leads. This time out, midway through the third, brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, proud creators of the Ale Ziggy Zumba, a light ale made in collaboration with BG Athletics. A fan favorite in the Madhouse on Mercer, also available at 145 South Main Street and downtown Bowling Green. For Juniper Brewing Company details, go to juniperbrew.com. Falcons down 2 goals. They need both in the last 10 minutes to keep their season alive. You're listening to Falcon Hockey in the CCHA quarterfinal here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network now has a pregame and postgame show, along with intermission reports for every BGSU hockey broadcast, starting 25 minutes before each game. Make sure to tune in to hear insights and knowledge from Falcon Media Sports Network analysts. You can listen to every broadcast on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey. Also streaming on bgfalconmedia.com.
Hey, this is Nicholas Winholtz, executive producer of The Swoop. Make sure to tune into The Swoop, BG Falcon Media's live sports talk show, produced by BG24, every Thursday at 4:15 p.m., live streamed on the BG24 YouTube channel, and is always available afterwards at bgfalconmedia.com, your home for all BGSU athletics, news, and updates.
Check out bgfalconmedia.com for previews, recaps, photos, videos, and more of the Falcons.
7 seconds beyond halfway here in the third period, and Michigan Tech trying to hold on to a 2-goal lead to punch their ticket to the semifinal. Last time they reached the semifinal, they won the Mason Cup. That was in 2023. They beat the Falcons to get to the semifinal and beat Minnesota State to win the Mason Cup. They had an impressive season that season as the 3 seed, and now as the 4 seed, looking to go on another run. Just lucking into home playoff after losing last series completely to the Falcons. Took just 1 point. That point kept Bowling Green from hosting their own CCHA playoff, and who knows what would have been beneficial to the Falcons had they been home. We are here in the McKinnis Student Ice Arena. The Falcons with the puck in neutral ice. Lose it for a second. Niedermeyer scamper back to grab it with Sardarian on a forecheck. 2-man forecheck for Michigan Tech. They're not letting any Falcons break through. 4 men at the blue line almost all the time. Good move there by the Falcons. Crampton working in. Save Bartoskevich. Puck down on the doorstep. Another save by Bartoskevich with the play whistle dead. Bowling Green's given it to Bruce Vita Jr. for whistling the play dead with the puck still live. And now the black and gold and the orange and brown going to be separated a bit, and somebody's going to head off the ice. Looks like Noah Reinhardt. Maybe a high sticking against Ben Duran. Interference is the call against Ben Duran. And that's a mistake that Michigan Tech couldn't make. Bowling Green goes on a power play. They've had 2. They've missed on 2. And this is their first in the third period and a golden opportunity for the Falcons. The last week, counting last series and this series, we've said the biggest games of the season and the biggest individual efforts. Well, this is the biggest power play chance of the season for the Falcons. They put out Grant, Ryman, Emerson, Niedermeyer, and Higgins. 5-on-4 for the Falcons here in the third period, trailing by 2. Face-off won by Michigan Tech. They're able to clear. So some time wasted for the Huskies. The clock is against them. They have the 2-goal lead. Falcons looking to get there first, get some momentum, and they need 2 here in the third period at least for a best chance at sending their season and going to the semifinal. Back around to the right side, way open ice for Quinn Emerson outside of the right wing wheel. Emerson back up to the blue line. Niedermeyer holds it in. Down to the right wing wheel is Emerson with his feet on the red line at the goal line. Still got the puck. Back up to Higgins. Higgins and Ryman up at the blue line. Back Higgins looking for a shooting lane. Now gives it to Ryman on the power play. Ryman down and deep. Got a man in front. Defended. Now back up. High slot. Higgins slap shot. Backside blocked. A rebound chance. Directed in front. The Falcons score. A deflection what looked to be Quinn Emerson. And the Falcons score on the power play and are now within 1. Niedermeyer's going to lead the charge to the bench. Emerson was camped out in front. A secondary shot, and we'll see if anybody got a tip on it. Might have went off Joe Prouty's skate. Whatever the case, the puck in the back of the net. And goaltender interference is going to be challenged by Michigan Tech. Doubt they're going to use their timeout, so a worthwhile challenge for the Huskies to see if they really did interfere with Bartoskevich. The Falcons did. Emerson was the one in tight, so we'll have to see a replay and see whether or not there was an interference there. We'll stick our way through this challenge. 8:32 to go in the third period. Right now it stands as a goal for the Falcons. 2-1, that score. First 2 goals of the game, Sardarian and Ryman, both by Michigan Tech. One in the first, one in the second. Both of them even strength. Falcons go on a power play in the third period, and a must-score one still for Bowling Green if it's whistled as no goal and interference against the goaltender. Quinn Emerson if it lands, or Jackson Niedermeyer as well. Niedermeyer has 4 goals this season. Emerson has 11. Right now it's given to Niedermeyer from Higgins and Emerson, but there might be a review to see who scored the goal from the press box, and certainly a review going on to see if there was goaltender interference. Falcon Media Sports Network here in the McKinnis Student Ice Arena. Falcons and Huskies. 8 minutes, 32 seconds left in the season as it stands right now for the Falcons. They trail by 1 with a goal standing as good from Jackson Niedermeyer. 11:28. The time of the goal. Jackson Niedermeyer's had a heck of an end of the season, converting from a forward to a defenseman within the first couple of series, and now here's the call. And no goal is the call. So there was contact to Bartoskevich. This is the second goal that's been wiped away in key games for the Falcons and or against the Falcons. One from Waters last week in the overtime game that Bowling Green might have won, and that goal stood as good. And then one today that could have brought the Falcons into it. Still a power play for the next minute and 10 seconds for Bowling Green, but they need to score again. Behind the net to Cole Moore. Falcons with the puck. At the very least, that got their top line of power play guys a rest. Hodson circles around with speed, gains the entry up the right side, gives it up to the right side. Quick shot, dancing on the doorstep and now away. Sternberg's going to camp out on the left side, gives it to Crampton in the middle up at the blue line. Crampton with the puck, got a man to the right, got a man to the left. Sternberg with it, back up Crampton. Sternberg now to the right side, Duran on that right side with Waters in the center. Hodson back to the right side, Duran. Waters still in the center, back up to the blue line, Crampton, slap shot Sternberg into Bartoskevich. They know where it's going as soon as they go to Sternberg. He's taken about 5 slap shots on power plays today, and none of them have fallen through yet. 20 seconds to go on the power play. BG needs a goal. 7:30 to go in the third period. The Falcons trailed 2 in an elimination quarterfinal game. Dropped back, Ryman goes with the puck. One of the best skaters on the ice, gives it up to the right side, entry gain from the Falcons. Pass down, wrist shot, blocked on a cell by Tyler Miller, and a successful penalty kill as Reinhardt's interference doesn't result in a goal for Michigan Tech. Big check there from Tom Leppa, who laid out Dominic Ryman, nearly turned the puck over. Michigan Tech clears it out of their zone. And then Bowling Green does the same. Might be an icing against the Falcons. No, it's going to be clean. Somebody played at center ice. Falcons with more shots on goal, but no goal to come from that power play. And now 6 minutes, 52 seconds to go. An icing against Michigan Tech. An offensive zone faceoff for Bowling Green. But 2 goals are needed. In the draw goes Levis with Zlinka and Max Martin up in the forward side. Sternberg and McKinley back up at the blue line. McKinley takes the puck down to the goal line. Got Max Martin back there, missed him. Kalen Parker with the puck. He's pinned up in the corner by Max Martin from behind. Levis tries to go back up blue line. Trembecki saw right through it and broke up the pass. Here McKinley in front of his own bench. Trembecki dumps it in. Sternberg goes around his net with the puck. The defenseman with 6:30 to go. A big check again. Kalen Parker just leveled Max Martin, who gets up right back in the play. BG turns it over. Max Martin with the puck. High slot. Waters shot in. Rebound chance. BG shot. What a save, Bartoskevich. Takes a stride out from the crease. Makes a beautiful save on what I think was Dalton Norris. And a try from the backside. 6:18 to go in the third period. Bartoskevich, the save of the night right there. Dalton Norris ranging in to clean up a rebound. Falcons trail by 2 goals. A win today forces game 3 tomorrow. A loss today. Bowling Green goes back to Ohio without a playoff series win. Works in, back door. Duran kind of fanned on his pass, although it was wide open. BG's had better chances. Waters down at the goal line, defended by 2 Huskies. BG with some desperation now, and you can see it on the ice. 6 minutes exactly to go in the third period. BG needs 2 goals. Behind the net, Kaskapirti has the puck. Off the glass and out to the blue line of the Falcon O zone, and they have to scamper back and grab it. Crampton with the puck. Norris back with him on the defensive zone. Looks to break it out. Entry, puck in the O zone. Here's Grant. Tried to feed it down to Emerson. Is back out to neutral ice as the defenseman change for BG. Niedermeyer and Higgins back. Higgins with the puck. Up to the right side. Emerson with speed as he looped around the defenders. Emerson looking for a backhand pass. Got it to the slot. Directed in. Ryman, and he sent it wide of the net. Niedermeyer back behind. Pass to the slot. Cleared away. Cicek now gloved and dropped before it was cleared by Cicek. Falcons down and deep again. Desperation still for the Falcons. 5:15 to go. Emerson with the puck. He's dropped down to the ice. Taken out of the play. Here's Grant to pin the puck up. Keep it in the O zone, say the Falcons. Andreessen pins the puck up. Waste time, says the Huskies. 5 minutes to go in the third period. Puck loose behind the net. Ryman's got a man in the slot. Niedermeyer a chance, and it's saved by Bartoskevich. Back up to the blue line. Falcons with the puck. Higgins to the right side. Shot. Rebound. Chance. Hit. Niedermeyer. He scores. A deflection in front. A late call by the referee, but Niedermeyer feeds it through. Big goals in this building for Jackson Niedermeyer. Had one waved off a minute ago, and he's got another one just a few minutes later. 4:47 to go in the third. The Falcons up back within 1. Niedermeyer on a rebound. A great play developing by the Falcons, utilizing that desperation. Bartoskevich had to go from the left side of the crease to the middle. And the defenseman did his job and got the Falcons within 1. Now on the right side comes Stjernberg. The Falcons within 1 now. It's 2-1 Michigan Tech, and still a goal to make up. Have the Falcons. They need a win in this elimination game. The puck into the Michigan Tech bench. We get a stoppage of play, and the faceoff will come back into the Michigan Tech end. It was a clearing attempt that came into the bench. Bowling Green's winning on faceoffs, 29-24. They get an O-zone 1 here and a must-win. Duran, Waters, Hodson. Back is Crampton and Stjernberg at the blue line. Hodson got the puck on the left side. Back up blue line. Crampton spins around and gets it away to his defensive partner, Stjernberg. In deep, Waters down behind the goal line. Hodson looks to skate away with the puck. It's out almost to Duran, who was camped out in front of Bartoskevich. In the corner, Bowling Green back in the offensive zone and back out blue line possession. Crampton with the puck. Shot in. Nearly a deflection. Camped out in front was Duran, who got needlessly shoved at the end by the Husky. 4:15 to go in the third. A chance, but stopped by Bartoskevich. Niedermeyer might be given credit for an unassisted goal. That one scored at the 15-16 mark here in the third period. And that's because the rebound off of Bartoskevich came all the way out to him, and the goaltender trying to go from post to the middle had to shift his feet and shift his eyes and couldn't do it in time. Number 5 this season for Jackson Niedermeyer. Emerson with a shot blocked on a couple of sticks. Couldn't clear it out. Yeah, they could clear it out. Michigan Tech looked like a drop short of the blue line, but a bounding puck. Falcon defenseman played conservative with it. Up the ice, Emerson tipped it. Prouty back behind the net to gather. It's up to Noah Reinhardt. Good defensive freshman is Noah Reinhardt. The Falcons back with the puck. It's the freshman defenseman, Ty Higgins. Higgins didn't play the first half of the year, been very influential the second half. Although he's been spotty with how he's scored, Ty Higgins has been a needed player for the Bowling Green Blue Liners. 3:40 to go in the third period. 2-1. Michigan Tech leads Bowling Green. A goal a minute ago by Jackson Niedermeyer. They are going to give assists to Quinn Emerson and Ty Higgins. That an even strength goal. Fed in. Jack Anderson holds onto the puck and then finally clears it away. That's up ahead for Elias Janssen. Offsides. Janssen and Trembecki ahead. Both of those two players not happy with the officiating today. Almost every whistle they're going over and arguing. Quinn Emerson, 23 assists on the season. Ty Higgins, 9. And 10 points and just the second half of the season, and you wonder what he could have added to this team had he played the first half. But a situation outside of his and the Falcons' control kept him from playing the first half of the year, and now you look forward to next year and how great of a player he'll be with another offseason and another year to make something happen on the blue line for the Falcons. Pass to the front, deflected. Jack Anderson, a clearing attempt is away. The Falcons go back, grab the puck. 3 minutes to go in the third period, and now you start thinking about when Cole Moore is going to go over to the bench. A goal lead for Michigan Tech, so about a minute and a half will be the time, but it's going to be a feeling in the game. Head coach Dennis Williams pulled Tyler Palmer yesterday with a power play and about 4 minutes to go in the game. The Falcons scored on that power play. They were down 2 at the time. So a feeling from Willie, got the extra man on the ice, and the Falcons scored on it, maybe because of that extra man. And now we'll see when they pull the Falcon goaltender again, this time Cole Moore. Higgins with the puck in his own zone, out to center ice is the try. BG with some offense. Grant gets hit, shoulder check from Carson Burney in front of the Michigan Tech bench. BG looks to pick it off and turn it over center ice. Van Blaricon back behind the net. Cole Moore way out of the crease. He has to play it around to Higgins in the corner. 2:15 to go in the third period. The Falcons need a goal and need it desperately. The season over if they're not able to win this game. It's an elimination game, second of this quarterfinal against Michigan Tech. Puck up to Bowling Green in the air. The Falcons with it in front of their own bench. Crampton right off the bench to go play the puck. It's Stjernberg, and a pass ahead to Bartoskevich, and he'll have to cover it up conservatively. Levis in on that forecheck. See who the Falcons put out now and what they do with Cole Moore. There's a minute 53 to go in the season if they don't score. Head coach Dennis Williams, to see him talking to Matt Nicholson, his first season assistant coach. Jacob Pritchard, also first season assistant coach. Dusty Carlson, the same, who runs the goaltenders. And Curtis Carr, associate head coach of Falcon hockey. BG looks like they're going in the O zone. A timeout still to be used by head coach Dennis Williams. Niedermeyer from Emerson and Higgins have set up this opportunity for the Falcons. They're down 1 with a minute 53 to go in the third. BG's challenging for head contact, and you hear some questions from the crowd here in Michigan Tech, and I'm sure what that is head coach Dennis Williams wanting to use a timeout and figuring it's better to challenge for a potential call, maybe get a major and a man advantage out of it, rather than just simply use the timeout. He's done that quite a bit this season, and a lot of junctures where I don't think he really has anything in mind on what to challenge. But a minute 53 to go in the third period, 2-1. Michigan Tech over Bowling Green. Game 2, Michigan Tech won Game 1, 5-3 yesterday. That sets them up for the sweep. An elimination game today for Bowling Green. They need a win. And overtime or regulation, it doesn't matter. The Falcons just need to get the final goal today. Cole Moore, I'm sure, will be pulled in the next little bit. The Falcons have an offensive zone face-off. And they had Ben Duran, Brody Waters, Tyler Hodson out in that offensive zone. And I'd imagine that somebody else offensive, probably Dominic Ryman or the likes of, will go instead of Cole Moore when he comes off. And I'd imagine Niedermeyer and Gustav Stjernberg will be the two defensemen. Stjernberg, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points this season. Brings a blend of offense and defense, and Niedermeyer does the same, although he's got his 5th goal of the season today and his 17th total point. Niedermeyer only scored 8 points last year in 33 games played. This is number 36 for him, and 3 more games played as a defenseman than last year as a forward. He scored over double as many points. And 2 big goals last week for Jackson Niedermeyer. An overtime goal, and then today bringing the Falcons within 1. There's no penalty on the play. Cheers from Michigan Tech and the McKenna Student Ice Arena. The Falcons in Houghton. Cole Moore will not skate back to the crease. Bowling Green down to their last minute 53 if they're not able to score. In the offensive zone, Duran for the faceoff with Emerson, Tyler Hodson, Dominic Ryman, Higgins, and Stjernberg back defensively for Bowling Green. Duran in for the faceoff. Pretty good faceoff man, as are all the Falcon centermen. And it gets tied up and the puck never gets dropped. Duran 14 and 6 today. Higgins back up at the blue line, left side. Sternberg on the right side of that blue line. Hodson toward the slot area. Ryman just behind him. Emerson on the left side toward the boards, and the Falcons with a left wing offensive zone faceoff. One back by Bowling Green. A goal needed. 2-1 Michigan Tech leads game 2. An elimination game for Bowling Green in the quarterfinal. Back up blue line. Higgins dives just to hold it in. Sternberg right side puts it in deep to Hodson. Hodson in the corner. No goalie for the Falcons. Extra attacker for Bowling Green. Michigan Tech looking to hold on to what at one point was a 2-goal lead. They have an empty net try, possibly. Puck with Bowling Green. Sternberg on the left side at a slap shot spot where he set up camp on the power plays today. Man advantage again. Here's Higgins in the middle. His shot, a rebound chance from the right side on Bartoskevich. Sardarian clears it off the boards and away down to the other end of the ice. A race for the puck. Owen Baker will try and get there first. He goes for the empty net. Shut off by the Falcons. A great defensive play by what looked to be Gustav Sternberg that dove in for the puck. It's given up to Fasciano. He buries the empty netter with Sternberg down behind the net. Bowling Green couldn't get the puck back on that initial play in by Owen Baker. Sternberg still down behind the Falcon net. Sardarian will wave to him as he skates through. An empty net goal for Michigan Tech with 60 seconds to go in the third period. They lead 3-1 and are likely going to be moving on to the Mason Cup semifinals. Sternberg took a hard hit off the boards on the back. He slid to make a save on the puck. Owen Baker, the first man in the zone to try in the empty net. He either fired it off the red iron on the right side of the net, or it was blocked by Sternberg. Whatever the case, Sternberg took a header. And not a pretty sight there at the end. Michigan Tech just had to get the puck and cycle it away to an open man. They had to try at the empty net, and it's Fasciano, I believe, that had the empty net goal. If it stands as his, it will be his 5th of the season and his 8th point. And Sternberg will be helped off the ice. The dedication from Goose and the alternate captain to go for that puck, a full sell, his body on the line for his team to give him the best chance at a win. But it's pretty improbable now. Sternberg kind of hunched over, skates off under his own power, but limping back to the locker room is Goose. Fasciano is given credit for the empty net goal. Michigan Tech and Bowling Green with a face-off center ice. 60 seconds to go in the season for the Falcons. McKinley a shot in. Moore and desperation will go over to the bench. 50 seconds to go for the Falcons. Down behind the net to Minville. He's bumped. Waters behind the net now to try and clear it out. Quick goal needed for the Falcons if they want any chance. Niedermeyer up at the blue line. Not a lot of time to waste. Niedermeyer looking in. His pass kind of blocked. Another try at the empty net by Michigan Tech. Just missed. Falcons will get to the puck first, and it's an icing against Michigan Tech with 35 seconds to go in the third. Even if the Falcons can get one, the goal scorer will bring the face-off out to center ice, and then a lot of work to be done and not a lot of time. Ben Duran, Quinn Emerson, Dominic Ryman, and Tyler Hodson with no goaltender and an extra skater on. Back up at the blue line. Higgins got to make something happen and fast. Ryman with the puck. The rookie looks in. Shot trickles through Bartoskevich. Ryman with that shot from the right side. The Falcons with a score with 26.9 seconds to go in the third. And now this has a new look to it. Dominic Ryman with a gorgeous shot. Bartoskevich not happy about that play. He was not interfered with. No Falcon really even close. And now this actually does matter. Cole Moore still over in front of the crease, but on the ice. He's looking quickly over toward the bench and a must-win faceoff. Duran wins it back, clutch time. Higgins with the puck. 20 seconds to go in the third period. BG a goal down and no goaltender. And it's going to be an icing against the Falcons, and the bench is not happy. Head coach Dennis Williams really not happy. And that icing might take away a chance at stealing extra time. Cole Moore will have to go to the net. The Falcons will have a face-off to his right. and they'll have to win a draw, get Colmore off, get in the offensive zone, and score in the next 20 seconds to force overtime against Michigan Tech. Ben-Duran, face-off. Tom Leppa with it back to the blue line. Falcons with the puck. 15 seconds to go. Colmore over to the bench. Falcons with the puck in the O-zone. Here's Ryman back behind the blue line. The Falcons with the puck. They got it. Left side pass. One-timer chance blocked. A rebound chance with 5 seconds to go to the Falcons. It's blocked by Michigan Tech and away outside of the offensive zone. The horn sounds for the final time in Bowling Green Hockey's 2025-2026 season. Too little, too late for the Falcons. They fall 3-2 in Game 2 of the CCHA Mason Cup quarterfinal, hosted by the Huskies. Back-to-back-to-back quarterfinal series for these two teams against each other, 2023, 2024, and now in 2026. The Huskies have taken the win and another sweep, and the Falcons seniors will have skated their final game in the orange and brown. Brett Foe, Jack Blake, Jackson Niedermeyer, Jaden Grant, Quinn Emerson, Dalton Norris. All seniors for the Falcons, likely not going to return to the orange and brown. And Bowling Green just a goal short. They go to the handshake line. The Falcon coaching staff will trail that line for the Falcons, who will touch up each other before they go to that handshake line. A lot of different junctures in the season you can look back to for the Falcons. A lot of things that may not have gone your way, but some things left on the table that the Falcons could have controlled and didn't. And an unfortunate end to what's been a very good season for the Falcons, who last year reached the semifinals for the first time in 5 years with a final record of 18-14-4. Bowling Green this season will finish with a final record of 18-11-7, a much better record overall than last season, an improvement of 3 games in conference play than last season, and yet find themselves outside of home playoff, which they didn't last season, and find themselves not able to make it to the semifinals. The orange and brown will go back to Bowling Green with 2 straight losses in the quarterfinals. Michigan Tech will move on to the semifinals against a CCHA team to be named. 3 games going on right now in the CCHA. Minnesota State and Ferris State tied 1-1. Augustana, Bemidji State tied 0-0. St. Thomas, Lake Superior State tied 1-1. Those games will be talked about by Gavin, Nathan, and Dan back in the Cooling Center studios in WBGU 88.1 FM. We'll bring it back here in just a minute for the final stars of the game of the season, and then we'll send it back to the studio for our wrap-up today. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Ever wanted to hear what a BGSU coach or player says after a game? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to watch post-game press conferences for all BGSU home volleyball, soccer, football, hockey, and basketball games.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
What's going on, guys? I'm Darius Lorfields, junior safety here at BG. My Falcon 4 favorite things for homecoming, definitely seeing some of the alumni, you know, the big crowd, you know, hearing them roar, the Falcon Walk pregame, getting to see more people, and then just winning the game overall and celebrating after. Go Falcons.
Ben Korak and the Falcon Media Sports Network crew covering the Falcon hockey team throughout the season.
Back here in the McKinnis Student Ice Arena in Houghton, Michigan for the final time on the road or at all for BG Hockey this season at a remote spot. Ben Korak here from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Today's Stars of the Game brought to you by Bill and Karen Hoffert, longtime BGSU hockey fans and Falcon Club members. Third star of the game today, Owen Bartoskevich. 2 goals, 38 saves, and a .950 save percentage. Played fantastic against the Falcons today and could have very well been a multi-score win for Bowling Green had Bartoskevich not been in net. He made some very key saves for Michigan Tech, although in the third period, especially late in the third period, started to let some trickle through, albeit some pretty desperate attacks for the Falcons. It ended up being the game-winning goal, although it was on an empty net, and that was Fasciano's, Luca Fasciano, the sophomore, with an empty net try. He got that after another try by Owen Baker up the left side, and that an inkling into who's going to be the first star. But Fasciano, rare to say that an empty net was the game-winning goal, and that it was today, the third goal of the game in a 3-2 Michigan Tech win. And then the first star of the game goes to Owen Baker. He had 2 assists today. That one on the first goal of the game that really set the tone for Michigan Tech. Steven Sardarian Baker got the entry, got the puck in, and it was his manufacturing of Sardarian and Cicek that scored the goal for Michigan Tech. And then he had the assist on Luca Fasciano's score as well. He was the one that went and got the puck, the first into the Falcon end of the ice with no goaltender. He tried for the empty net on a low angle and missed, and then inevitably set up Fasciano for the game-winning empty net goal. So Owen Baker, first star of the game, Luca Fasciano, and Owen Bartoskevich, the second and the third stars of the game. Michigan Tech with a 5-3 win over Bowling Green yesterday, a 3-2 win over Bowling Green today, and they will move on to the semifinals to play Minnesota State, Ferris State, Bemidji State, Augustana, Lake Superior State, or St. Thomas. We'll see how that plays out, and talking about it back in the studio will be Gavin, Nathan, and Dan. For the final time this season, from myself on the road or from the Slater Family Ice Arena, from our Falcon Media Sports Network Falcon Hockey broadcast, we say good night, and we'll talk to you next year. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Media Sports Network produces weekly short-form and long-form social media pieces for in-season sports all year long. Make sure to check out at BG_FMSN on Twitter/X and at BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook to view the content.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
BGSU women's basketball finishes the regular season at the Stroh Center against Northern Illinois on Saturday, March 7th at 2 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcast will begin with a pregame show hosted by Holden Ruck, Dan Ridenauer, and Sam Bork before Lucas Kleinmeyer and Andrew Elkowski call the action on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for BGSU women's basketball.
In Bowling Green football's 41-17 season opening victory over Fordham on August 29th, junior Justin Pace set a program record with a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown on the first play of the game. Falcon Media Sports Network's Reese Patricus had the call on Falcon Radio.
Go back up and field it on the goal line. Trying to take it to the right, got some blocks, got a hole. Peg was down the far sideline, and he's got space in front of him. 10, 5, touchdown BG brings back the opening kickoff. What a way to start the season.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
you ever miss the Zig Zone on Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. on WBGU 88.1 FM or just want to re-listen to the program, each show is posted in full on bgfalconmedia.com with timestamps so you can skip ahead to your favorite part.
This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
In the Coolin Center for your post-game show, Bowling Green State University fell to Michigan Tech University 3-2. Final game of the series out of the Mason Cup. Last time I'll be playing that hockey rejoin button ever here on WBGU 88.1 FM. But I guess your guys' takeaways from this game. Let's start with that, and then we'll go into takeaways from this year.
What a difference a moment can make. I mean, this is a completely different ending if that one goal doesn't get taken away from BG. I mean, Michigan Tech earlier this year kind of did something similar to the Falcons, and they called it. But, I mean, that's just the way the hand of the draw goes, if you will. But, yeah, it's just crazy to think how it could have been a different game, but also you outshoot your opponent 41-26 and still can't connect. I mean, that's going to be a tough one to swallow. I mean, 0 for 3 on the power play as well. Just overall throughout the entire year, Bowling Green had a very strong penalty kill. It was always the power play that was just the Achilles heel for the Falcons. So I'd say that's part of what killed them tonight, as well as just not finding the second part to shooting the puck.
We mentioned last night how the Falcons played really well, just wasn't enough, and same thing tonight. Again, Dan mentioned you outshoot your opponent 41-26. We talked about how they needed to step up in the third period, down by 2 at the time. They definitely did. They brought some physicality. They shots on goal 18-4. They outshoot Michigan Tech, and in the end, it ends up being 1 goal short.
Well, I mean, 1 goal short. Kind of wrap up the season. Not much to say. Ben Korak put it perfectly at the end of this game. I guess. I mean, we all expected a different outcome. I know Burkett said at the beginning of the broadcast off air, like, this is the team to be able to go. I mean, and like Dan said, it's just the way the cards fall. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, you get put into a tough spot. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things you can fall back on. Steinman not being in. Steinman, I mean, T's and P's to you on your way to recovery. Steinman not being in, is this a different game with him? Is this a different series with him? Was the Minnesota State series a different series with him? You know, a lot of things you can look back on, point fingers at, and blame. But no, this is a team sport. Everyone's got to wrap their heads around it and kind of, take self-inflicted blame. You could say. Also, Coach Williams, second year in the system. Go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, you got to give credit to him. And, I mean, you look at just the foundation he built. I mean, the standard in the, I guess, Eigner era and on paper some of the end of the Bergeron era was just make it to the first round, exit, not going to have to go on the road. The standard was set completely different last year for Coach Williams. He brought in something new, and that's not anything against Eigner or Bergeron. That's just he brought in his own style, his own system. And to lead the standard as we can host a home playoff series and then go on is what he's telling his team. A great foundation to build on, and while this is on paper not as good as last year, you still got to realize that the works are happening and that the foundation is being built. And for a second-year coach to have this consistency he has, I mean, that's phenomenal.
This team was definitely stronger than last year's team from a skill point, in my opinion. Even though last year they had home ice advantage, they went to the second round. They swept Michigan Tech. And on this paper, if you look back, I'm sure in 10 years when people look back at this, still think, well, they had a little bit of a down year from the first year of the Williams era in BG. But this team was better than last year's. They had better goal scoring. They had, in my opinion, probably a little bit better defense. The only thing that they might have helped was last year, BG had Christian Stover, he was a maniac in net, but he graduated. But other than that, and even then, the goaltending this year was amazing with Palmer, Steinman, and Moore. But again, he definitely set a new standard, and I think he mentioned in the press conference a couple of times that there were games in my freshman year here, so last year, where you would go to Minnesota State and you would accept, like, okay, maybe BG will get a draw if they're lucky. And I feel like a lot of fans this year, there was not a single game that BG went into that they expected a loss or expected that BG couldn't at least compete.
Exactly.
You felt that all around campus too. Like, this is a hockey town, and like as a BGSU student, I mean, feel like a lot of students would say this if you know athletics. Like, hockey is our school sport. Like, yes, we play yes, we play baseball. Yes, we play football. Like, football is going to be huge no matter what. Basketball, both men's and the women's, can be competitive. Volleyball, super competitive. But, like, hockey is, like, the one where I feel like all students over the last, I mean, I've been here for 3.5 years. When I got onto campus, it was like, yeah, this is a hockey school. I'm like, okay, but, like, I've always heard of football, but like football never really did anything. Right. But you get on campus and you know this is a hockey school. Alumni come back to watch the hockey games. I mean, heck, I could be completely wrong for saying this, but hockey's one of the only sports that we've sold out arenas for multiple times in a season. I mean, I've seen that here. I mean, we've all seen it this season, but like even like a couple years ago, they were selling out the slate. So this foundation that Coach Williams has set after taking this position 2 years ago, very well. I mean, excited to see. Like, I'll be graduating here, but like, you know, I feel like definitely coming back.
Yes.
Like, definitely coming back and watching the Falcons play, especially in this area. The only hockey that you can really go see, what, you want to go up to Toledo and watch a Walleye game? Like, no, come down to Bowling Green and watch a Falcon hockey game, because it is electric every single time you go in this stadium or the arena. With that being said, I mean, anything wrapping up before we get to the next segment?
I mean, Bowling Green through and through is a hockey town. It will always be a hockey town. It always has been. I love the alumni here at Bowling Green. It's phenomenal. That's a huge part to the success the Falcons had, was the great alumni that they had this year. I mean, but at the end of the day, Bowling Green is a hockey town. They're still going to be selling out the Madhouse on Mercer, as is the correct nickname. So, I mean, you look at the Madhouse on Mercer, it will be sold out next season, and they will be ready to go. Whether that be you have exhibition games to start in October and then go throughout the month, get ready for next year, because now the work begins.
And I know fans are definitely going to be disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, high expectations didn't quite – I feel like they met the expectations. They just didn't quite live up to, like, as far as they wanted them to go to expectations. But this team is – even though it's really sad to see the seniors go, because they had great careers here and they definitely wanted to win in their final year, but – BG is going to have all these freshmen that we've talked about all year about. They're going to have another year, another summer of development. They're going to be even better next year. Another great recruiting class in the works for Coach Williams and his hockey team. So this hockey team might be even better next year.
And that's all we can hope for. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but like, just one more thing about Coach Williams and this campus. Coach Williams was a student here, right? Yes. Which means that there have been a couple of professors that are still around on campus that he's had. My minor is in marketing, and I go to the business college a lot. Coach Williams has shown up to 2 of my classes to talk about how important this education that we are getting here is and how much better it is. So, like, when you have, like, an alumni coming back as a coach, one, that's just cool. It's really cool to see. But then you have him, like, him or she or him, going into classrooms and talking about their program, but not only talking about the program, wanting you to get butts and seats, but also talking about your education, talking about how special of a place this is that you are here. Not only are you building, like, your program as the coach that you're coaching for, but you're also just building up the reputation of the school, and it is just amazing to see. I don't think I've ever said that before. I've completely forgot, but shout out to Coach Williams. He came in the first time, I was like, whoa, that's the head coach of the hockey team. And then the second time I was like, how often are you doing this? Shouldn't you be all right, never mind, that's besides the point. But yeah, just hats off to Coach Williams and these seniors. But before we sign off, I talked to Dan and Nathan. We're going to do stick taps of the year. Stick tap is just like honorable mentions, kind of like a player of the year for this hockey program. And I'm going to give it to Burkett first because he's on my left. So Burkett, who's your stick taps of the year?
Well, you can give it to a lot of players in this team, and maybe expect some content from Falcon Media Sports Network highlighting specific players. But the one that comes to mind is Quinn Emerson, the son of people have been saying this for his entire career. Is the son of a BG legend, and he's always earned a spot on the roster. He's always played a consistent, really solid role. But this year he exploded. Career highs in goals, assists, points. Led the Falcons in points, 32 on the year, 10 goals, 22 assists. He really, Coach Williams talks about how this team, as much as they want to win, they also want their players to go and get pro jobs following their hockey career, and they want to go play professional hockey. In my opinion, Quinn Emerson really played his way into a contract this season.
Well, in the connections you talk about pro hockey that Bowling Green has with, whether that be the Toledo Walleye. I mean, you look at Sam Craggs, you look at Brandon Hawkins, you look at just Tyler Spezia, Brandon Cruz. I mean, multiple names could be thrown out there just 20 miles roughly up the road. I mean, but yeah, there's definitely potential, whether we see Quinn Emerson in the blue and gold at the Huntington Center next year, or whether we see him at somewhere else in the ECHL. I mean, it definitely possible. We could see him go to Fort Wayne. I mean, Kalamazoo, you name it. For me, though, I'm going to have to go with Tyler Hodson. 34 games played so far this season, gets 12 goals, leads the Falcons in the goal category, 16 assists as well to back it up, and he really just tried to contribute the best he could and got it a plus 11 as well, which is part of why I like to highlight him. And also, he doesn't lead the Falcons in this stat, but I know a stat that you are particularly fond with, Burkett, is block shots, and Tyler Hodson, as a forward, blocked 13, which really is impressive to me, especially since block shots is more of a, I guess, defensive metric, if you will. You're more expected to see that out of a Gustav Sternberg or a Ty Higgins. And you're seeing that out of a guy like Tyler Hodson. Just absolutely phenomenal for him. I'm going to have to, for my stick tap, Gavin, it'll have to go to Tyler Hodson.
Absolutely. So that will wrap it up here in the Coolin Center on WBGU 88.1 FM. Thank you for listening all season long. As Ben Korak or Burkett went to a couple, went away to go travel to every single hockey game, all home hockey games. Thank you for listening here on WBGU 88.1. If you weren't able to catch the game live in action, we've had a blast here in the Coolin Center and can't wait for next season. Well, you guys can't wait for next season. I will be graduating last time here, signing off for Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1. Your home for Falcon Hockey.
BGSU Baseball continues their first MAX series of the season on Saturday, March 7th at 3 p.m. against the Kent State Golden Flashes. Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley and Adam Duffin will have the call for the game starting at 2:45 on Falcon Radio. Always streaming live on bgfalconmedia.com, your home for BGSU athletics, news, and updates.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to bgfalconmedia.com.